experts on the undersea search and rescue, and we thank all of the agencies and personnel for their role in the response. We're also incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that's been provided. The ROVs will remain on scene and continue to gather information. Again, our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew. We'll now take questions.
John, what other debris have you found? John, what other debris have you found?
Can you talk about the delay in reporting the vessel missing and what impact that had on the recovery?
This was a incredibly complex case, and we're still working to develop the details for the timeline involved with this casualty and the response. And so we'll provide that information.
James Matthews from Sky News. John, what other debris have you found? And have you found any trace of those who were on?
So this is an incredibly complex operating environment on the seafloor, over 2 miles beneath the surface. And so the remote operating vehicle has been searching, and it is highly capable. And we've been able to classify parts of the pressure chamber for the Titan submersible. Let me refer to one of my undersea experts here, Mr. Paul Hankin, to talk about the nature of some of the debris.
Thank you, Admiral. So essentially, we found 5 different major pieces of debris that told us that it was the remains of the Titan. The initial thing we found was the nose cone, which was outside of the pressure hull. We then found a large debris field. Within that large debris field, we found the front end bell of the pressure hull. That was the first indication that there was a catastrophic event. Shortly thereafter, we found a second smaller debris field. Within that debris field, we found the other end of the pressure hull, the aft end bell, which was basically comprised of the totality of that pressure vessel. We continue to map the debris field, and as the Admiral said, we will do the best we can to fully map out what's down there.
Can I ask Thank you very much. It's a very difficult question to ask, but it will be an important one for the families, of course. What are the prospects of recovering the bodies of the missing crew?
So the questions was related. I'm restating the question from the standpoint of sometimes it's hard to hear the question here. What are the prospects for recovering crew members? And so this is a incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor, and the debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. And so we'll continue to.
All right, you've been listening to live breaking news coverage of a press conference taking place with the United States Coast Guard in Boston. And to recap, the tail cone of the submersible was found earlier, and then more debris. And after reviews from the United States Coast Guard and officials, they are confirming that pieces of the debris are consistent with the pressure chamber of this submarine. And unfortunately, this is not going to be a happy ending. The bodies have not been found yet. They are still looking. They said this is a catastrophic event, and it's happening 2 miles deep from the surface. So we will keep you up to date with this press conference and everything else you need to know here at 93 WIBC.
Broadcasting from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. This is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1, Indianapolis. Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name
name is Nigel. That's Hammer over there, IMPD, along with federal agents, raided 14 homes in Indy today. Hammer, do we know exactly what this was all about?
Still don't know a lot of information. So far, we're being told 9 people in custody. A total of 14 warrants were carried out, according to Lieutenant Shane Foley, the information officer for the IMPD. They did not say why the warrants were issued. They did not share the names or ages yet of those detained, but 14 warrants, 14 homes, 9 people in custody so far.
About like near East Side, 800 block of North Tuxedo Street is where the 14 warrants were carried out.
So, again, this isn't the first time that there's been a major raid when it comes to Indianapolis. It feels like these kind of things happen every couple of months or so, and everything's very hush-hush. Not a lot of information leaks out, but yeah, this is a big deal. Anytime the feds have a massive raid, you start wondering, is this drug-related? Is this some sort of crime? Is this human trafficking?
Yeah.
Is it a underage sex thing? And unfortunately, all of these questions will continue until we get a little bit more information. But if you see the feds around Indy today, yeah, that's a thing, and that's happening. So, speaking of crime in our city, in Indianapolis, this story that I'm about to tell you showcases what the mayor's office wants you to think and what real reality is. Okay? So there's a headline. I think this was on Fox 59's website. Indianapolis man sentenced to 1 year after pleading guilty to illegal gun possession. So, Nigel, you hear that headline and you think, well, okay.
Good.
About time.
Yeah.
About time Boss Hogsett and Ryan Mears did something to get some of these, bad guys off the street. The real reality is that this man that was sentenced to 1 year after pleading guilty to, quote, illegal gun possession, he was a convicted felon with a gun. That gun happened to be a machine gun.
Jeez.
He resisted law enforcement. They found fentanyl on him. They found 2 other stolen guns, a stolen phone on him. He's a person of interest in an armed robbery where shots were fired, and he got 1 year.
The story unfolds.
Busted with fentanyl, resisting law enforcement. You've got a machine gun, stolen guns, stolen phone, and you plead down to a sweetheart deal of 1 year. See, this is why you got to go into the weeds. You can't just look at the headlines of stories, because you just look at that headline and you think, okay, well, that's good news. But then you actually read the story and you look at the sweetheart deal this lunatic got, and this is textbook Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we do here.
And, of course, what we talked about yesterday with the Johnson County prosecutor, or was that Tuesday that we called him? You pull that stuff in donut counties, these prosecutors are finding that, half of their inmates, their population in their jails and prisons are from Indianapolis. And, you read that headline, you think, okay, look, they're cracking down on guns. They're cracking down, Hogsett and Mears are finally following through on getting tough on crime. But it was more than just pleading guilty to illegal gun possession.
Right.
And he got a year. And who knows when, half the time? How much time will he spend in prison?
He won't serve the full year. He'll serve a little bit. They'll slap him with the ever-popular monitor device, and next time he commits a crime, we'll know exactly where he's at, because that's what happens here. Here's a little inside baseball on how Marion County works. Okay, so if you're listening from one of the donut counties, Johnson, Hendricks, Hamilton, this is how it works in our county. So you see the headline, gun deaths or gun violence, and that moves the needle for the local TV stations here. And then your local officials, the mayor, Joe Boss Hogsett, Ryan Mears, they start to create division and conflict because it's all the guns' fault. And then Joe Hogsett will then grant taxpayer-funded money, these grants, to his political supporters to, quote, fix the problem. We've given money to this group. We've given money to that group. We're going to find the root cause of what's going on here. So after those grants are passed out here in Marion County, you're going to see a voter drive, a registration drive in the predominantly urban areas of the community, hoping that they can fool people into thinking, hey, we're out here trying to protect you. Look at all these grants we've passed out to help curb the violence, even though they don't do a damn thing. But these people try to get their registered voters locked in. However, these same voters probably don't realize that about 900 people have died in about a 3.5-year span, 75% of those African American. But yet Mears and Hogsett and Vop Osley and the Good Time Party boys of the City County Council, they keep getting reelected and they keep getting paid. This is how the whole system works here in Marion County, and it sucks.
And again, going back to our conversation with Johnson County Prosecutor Lance Hamner a couple of days ago, we got a lot of feedback about that and how he said a high percentage of his inmate population in the jails there were from Indy. Let's look at Hendricks County. 61% of those locked up in Hendricks County are indeed from Marion County.
61%.
How about Hamilton County and Hendricks? 35% in Hamilton County. So, and then like the same for Hancock County as well. Criminals from Indy, criminals from Indy. It's not slowing; it's spreading, and it's coming to a county near you.
So that's what's happening here in Central Indy, and that's how the system works with Ryan Mears and Joe Hogsett in our county. Now, again, big story. The Coast Guard held a press conference. It's bad news, unfortunately, Nige.
The U.S. Coast Guard said the search teams found some debris at the bottom of the ocean from the Titan submersible near the Titanic wreck, which they were trying to see. These were tourists in a tiny hollow metal tube going down to see the Titanic, which was about 12,500 feet below sea level. Anyway, they said this debris from the Titan submersible was consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber where the 5 people on board were. So that tells me that I hope it wasn't a slow thing, right?
Right.
A catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber means hopefully it was instant and they did not have to suffer. This turned out to be the biggest story in the world with a very unhappy ending.
The gentleman doing the press conference earlier today stated that the vessel was found 1,600 feet from the Titanic's bow. So just, a cryptic scene at the bottom of the ocean. This vessel was found 1,600 feet from the iconic bow of where the Titanic is.
They also asked him, what are the possibilities of recovering the deceased? And he didn't really give a good, it didn't sound like it was possible. It's talk about unforgiving conditions.
Right.
12,500 feet below sea level. Yeah, it's an awful story, and the prospect of them suffering down there for 5 days was just too much to think about, too much to bear. But it looks like now, again, the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber, hopefully it went a lot quicker.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
South side, eastbound 465 has reopened from I-72, I-65. Northbound 37 stopped from Epler Avenue to 465, one lane in each direction because of road construction. And northbound 465 stop and go from Lawrence, East 56th Street to 69. Traffic sponsored by LASIK Plus. LASIK Plus is the patient's choice for LASIK. Get $1,000 off LASIK when treated in June. That's $500 off per eye. Plus guaranteed financing. Visit LASIKoffer.com for details. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hammer, it's worth noting that Ocean Gate, which is the company that owned the Titan submarine, is also acknowledging that the crew has been lost.
Sad story.
Yeah.
We will continue to cover it here all afternoon, here at 93 WIBC, 77 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Let's have some good news. Can we talk about something upbeat here,
Please.
Nige? It's draft night, and the Pacers, they're in a position to make some noise tonight. They could be doing some wheeling and dealing. They've got a lottery pick. They've got multiple picks. We're going to speak to Scott Agnes, who covers the Pacers. We'll talk about what the Pacers could be doing tonight next.
I spend a lot of time in my garage, especially in the spring and summer. There's a TV out there, got the beer fridge, and I like working on stuff. And the only problem was my garage floor was awful. It's an older house. The garage floor had never been taken care of. Galaxy Concrete Coatings came in and within a day made my garage floor look brand new. It's truly out of this world. If you need a new garage floor, don't do anything until you've checked out GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com or give them a call for a quote, 751-9070.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-240-1465. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now, 800-240-1465.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-240-1465. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-240-1465 or oxcarcare.com.
GeoFocus Academy is the premier online private school for Indiana students, helping students build a successful future regardless of race, income, or geographic boundaries. 96% of Indiana residents qualify to attend tuition-free using the Indiana Choice Scholarship. With certified teachers and hands-on learning from home, you can create a bright future for your child. Now enrolling grades K through 12 for the 2023-2024 school year. Learn more at k12.com/GFA. GeoFocus Academy, where education clicks.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Hear that? That's Mozart. Hear that? That's a garage band at 2 a.m. And that's the sound of O'Charlie's juicy, delicious new smash hit burgers cooking on the grill. 2 meaty patties covered in melted cheese with those crispy edges and big, beefy flavor. It's a whole new way O'Charlie's is making their burgers so they're better than ever. Try the new smash hit burgers at O'Charlie's. They all taste and sound delicious. O'Charlie's. Oh, that's good.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Let us send you your home's value today. Go to HoosierHomeValues2023.com from Crossroads Collective, title sponsor of the First Day, Sundays 11 to 1.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Lab Grown or Mined Diamond Store.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I remember waiting for the school bus.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a very special guest on the drivehubler.com hotline.
It is NBA draft night, and the Pacers got some options here.
Really?
Scott Agnes is the man behind Fieldhouse Files. He's also a fill-in host and contributor to our sports station 107.5 The Fan. Scott, my man, how you doing?
Hey, good afternoon. Good to be on with you guys.
So let's get into it here. Pacers got some options tonight. They're sitting with multiple draft picks, a couple first-rounders, I believe. Trade rumors are out there. What are we looking at tonight, Scott?
Yeah, this is what we fully expected. This is the position the Pacers wanted to be in and set themselves up nicely here to have some options. Ideally, they're really right now focused on trying to acquire a veteran wing. That's been their big issue over these last several years, going back probably 4 years. They're good at point guard now, Tyrese Halliburton. They're good at center with Miles Turner, but they were one of the worst defenses in the league, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league last year. That's what they're trying to improve upon starting tonight.
So, in your opinion, is this going to be something that they're going to be able to find with the 7th pick in the draft, or they're trying to find an established player already?
It's both, absolutely. They're a team that has cap space, whereas like the Suns have blown way past the luxury tax, and the Warriors, who have just agreed to a different deal to acquire Chris Paul, they have blown way past the luxury tax. Pacers have cap space. We talked about right now they have 4 draft picks. I still don't think they necessarily may make 4 picks here tonight and end up in a 3rd deal at minimum here. But I think there's a group of about 3 or 4 players at 7 that they can really improve upon. But those guys often take a couple of years. So that's another reason why it's imperative for them to improve on the wing. And on top of that, add some experience out on the wing as well and more of a defensive emphasis, because this is a team that last year had about double-digit guys 23 and under.
Yeah, and Scott, speaking of last season, this is Nigel here. Talk about the Pacers' expectations last season. Did they even come close to a little bit surpassing expectations, or did they end up right about where you thought they'd be?
Yeah, Nigel, they surpassed them. All the sports books had them at 24 and a half wins and even dipped slightly lower, and they blew past that 10 more than that at 35 wins, 10 more than the previous season as well. And that was all largely in due part to Tyrese Halliburton in his 3rd year having a breakout season, an all-star year, and that accelerated them a little bit. But it's important here for them to not get overzealous, I think, a little bit too antsy. This team is at least a couple years away, in my opinion, from being a championship contending team. Next season, though, there are expectations again, and that starts with being back in the playoffs for the first time in several years.
So let's get into some of these names that we're seeing on social media. Again, everybody's got a rumor on draft day, but hearing OG Anunoby of Toronto could be in play, the former IU standout. Also, and I don't know if this is a thing or not, is Zion Williamson in play? Are the Pelicans looking to unload the former first-round pick?
Yeah, so that's where it gets interesting, and that would be tied to the 2nd or 3rd pick, with Charlotte followed by Portland. Charlotte's undergoing new ownership. Michael Jordan no longer being the majority owner, though he will have the final decision tonight. And then Portland, do they rebuild and move on from Damian Lillard after all these years, or do they, maybe move the number 3 pick and try to acquire a veteran who can help right away? In terms of OG Anunoby, he's a hot and familiar name for so many here in Indianapolis just because of what he did at IU and has continued to do. He'd be a perfect fit here. Thus far, Toronto has been unwilling to move on from him, at least at a decent price. I've heard at the trade deadline they were asking maybe for 5 first-round picks, and it's like, hold on,
good Lord,
not even an all-star here.
Good God,
this is not Steph Curry or LeBron. I'd be very cautious about sending out 5 first-round picks. The names I've heard, it starts with Dorian Finney-Smith, played for Rick and a couple of the assistant coaches down in Dallas. He's in Brooklyn right now and is on a very good deal for the next 3 seasons. Tobias Harris they're involved with. They've looked into him and expressed interest with the Philadelphia 76ers. And then DeAndre Hunter, they keep checking in on with Atlanta, but I think that's less likely here. Is the Pacers right now are in a roster consolidation mode. I talked about all those picks and how there's still overlap at center position, for example. They need to consolidate those into better individual talent and shore up the roster going into free agency on July 1.
What are we hearing about the possibilities of Trace Jackson Davis? Everything that I've read, the former IU standout, is probably a second rounder. I know he worked out for the Pacers, and it sounded like he had a good workout. Would the Pacers take a flyer on him in round 2?
Yeah, Trace is an interesting case. He did really well in his pre-draft workouts, as expected. I think he worked out for 13 different teams, including the Pacers, as you said. Really impressed early on at Sacramento with Golden State, who I could see both being in play there. I'm trending to believe maybe late first round is more likely than not. I've said kind of all along I see 24 to 40. As kind of being his range. And now the Pacers reduced the picks that they have at the back end of the first round there. They just have pick 26. I don't think that's the route they go. It's certainly under consideration, but again, I see them seeking more help on the wing and perimeter more so than at that 4 spot, even a small ball 5 role with Trace.
Well, Scott, it's a big night for the Pacers. Where can fans go to get all of your coverage?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Fieldhousefiles.com is what you want to get at. Have interviews with like 75% of all the guys that came through here. Just put out a lot of nuggets, some of which I discussed on this show. So fieldhousefiles.com for all your Pacers coverage.
Scott Agnes, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
It's a Hammer and Nigel show.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. We continue to save our new customers 30 to 40% when compared to their present individual or small group coverages. Many of our plans feature zero deductible and zero copays, coverage guaranteed to age 65, and the largest network in the nation with 2 A-rated companies. We've been in the same location, with the same phone number for 27 years. We'll be here when you need us. My early mentor in the insurance business was fond of saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always have what you always had. If you're unhappy with your present coverage and price, stop doing what you've always done. Call us at 317-435-1718 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-435-1718 or rragency.org. Thought for the day, if our country's such an awful place, why do millions come here to be free? God bless America, or at least what she used to be.
Summer's in Indy, and since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Okay, here's our to-do list for the road trip.
Wait a minute, Tire Discounters isn't on here.
That's because I know you'll go there anyway.
I was just on their website.
There's a shock.
They've got a road trip ready sale going on right now. They thought of everything. Oil change, brake and alignment checks, wipers, rotation and balancing.
Okay, go.
Will do.
You love Tire Discounters. You want to marry Tire Discounters.
Honey, we're just friends.
Get your family road trip ready and save.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Not changing his mind. Cloudy skies, 78 degrees in the circle. All clear on your radar. Low temps drop to about 64 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. Mike Pence is still making his stance on abortion clear.
There were many examples where men and women who were running for office who took a strong pro-life position, governors around the country who passed strong pro-life measures, did fine in the election.
Talking to Tony Katz on WIBC, the presidential candidate also says American support for Ukraine is important. The Coast Guard confirmed this afternoon the submersible used to view the Titanic was found demolished on the ocean floor.
An ROV, or remote-operated vehicle, discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic.
Rear Admiral John Mager in a press conference this afternoon. President Joe Biden says he's going to keep calling China's president a dictator.
Choosing and avoiding saying what I think is the facts is just not something I'm going to change very much.
Biden, while speaking alongside India's prime minister, says the comment hasn't had any real consequence, and he's going to keep saying it. It's called Operation North Star. U.S. Marshals have returned to Indianapolis to work with IMPD and sheriff deputies to try and grab homicide and drug suspects who are on the run. Kurt Darling reports.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestal says he's happy to be working with the feds.
I will point out that there's 188 people in jail right now charged with murder, and very few of them surrendered themselves. So important enforcement actions like this today is what gets the people off the street.
The operation has led to thousands of arrests nationwide in the last 3 years. Phase 3 of the operation kicking off last week with the arrest of Joshua Smiley in Avon. He was among the top 15 most wanted by U.S. Marshals for a murder in Alabama. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:33.
Hey, you know what's coming. The heat, the humidity, the high energy bills from forcing your AC into overdrive. If you want to beat the heat, call Window Nation today. Replacing your old windows can be the most important thing you can do to seal out savage summer swelter and keep cool and comfortable in your home, all while saving money. Right now, Window Nation will give you 2 windows free for every 2 you buy. Plus, you'll put 0 money down, make 0 payments, and pay 0 interest for 2 full years.
And when you buy from Window Nation, you're also getting award-winning customer service, certified professional installation, premium materials, and the best warranty on labor, materials, glass, and window. This Beat the Heat summer sale won't last forever. Call Window Nation right now, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Get 2 windows free with every 2 that you buy. No money down, no payments, no interest for 2 full years. Window Nation, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com.
With traffic at 3:34, here's Matt Bear.
Harrison inbound 69, stop and go traffic from 96th Street down to 82nd. Lawrence northbound 465 slows after Penn Pike up to 71st and northbound 37 stops. Epler Avenue to 465, roadway reduced to 1 lane for I-69 construction. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. It's going to be breezy with highs in the upper 70s near 80. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows near 63. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Ocean Gate Expeditions, it's the company Hammer behind the missing Titanic tourist submersible, confirmed earlier today that the passengers on board are believed to have, quote, sadly been lost. Quote, we now believe the passengers have sadly been lost. These men were true explorers who shared a distinct spirit of adventure and a passion for exploring and protecting the world's oceans.
It all started with the reports that there was a debris field near the site where the Titanic had went down. And when you heard that earlier today, I think everybody kind of started to expect the worst. And it turned out that was indeed the case. According to the Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard, it looks like there was a pressure chamber catastrophic failure, and that's what ultimately took down the submersive sub. And from what we were told in that press conference earlier, the vessel was found 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of different descriptions of actually what happened. The debris was consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber where the 5 people on board were. And then I'm also reading debris consistent with what they call a water column implosion.
Which it probably, again, I'm not a marine expert here. Sounds like it could be one and the same, right? If you have a pressure chamber catastrophic failure, then of course you're going to have an implosion.
And I guess I can speculate just by the things that we've read that there was, at least hopefully it was a quick demise for these passengers, because we were speculating all this week that what if they're down there at the bottom and they're still alive,
right?
With no food and no bathroom and no air and just terrified in this in this hollow metal tube, this tiny hollow metal tube. Could you imagine the suffering that would have gone on those days up until they ran out of oxygen? I couldn't. I don't want to imagine it.
And News Nation last night, when they were covering this story, they're taking a lot of heat for this because they had a countdown. They had an oxygen countdown ticker on the screen. Like when you watch New Year's Eve coverage or something, they have the clock ticking down to New Year's Eve. News Nation last night had an oxygen available countdown ticker.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I think it's a poor taste. You're counting down to someone's death.
Like CNN and the death count COVID tracker.
Right.
I didn't.
Not everybody likes that kind of stuff, right?
So the Titan was estimated to have run out of breathable air by this morning, and it looks like that doesn't even come into play now. That the debris is consistent with what they call the water column implosion, or the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber.
Yeah, the countdown to losing oxygen to innocent victims, not really my thing. Now, I'm pretty screwed up at the fact that if you're a murderer, if you're a sex offender, then by all means, I don't care what happens to you. You could argue these people made a poor choice to get onto this sub when it seemed like there were a lot of questions about it. But at the end of the day, these people were wanting to see the Titanic. I'm not really wanting to count down to their demise as I would, let's say, a cop killer. If you put his execution on pay-per-view, hell, I might even watch that. I think there's a pretty big difference going on there.
They're saying the U.S. Coast Guard saying the vessel was found 1,600 feet from the Titanic's bow. Now, I don't know if that means the entire vessel where the crew was, or the debris that was consistent, the debris that was consistent with the Titan submersible. So. And one of the questions was asked of the U.S. Coast Guard, are we going to be able to retrieve these bodies? And he was like, look, it is treacherous down there. It is, the conditions are very hostile down there.
They never retrieved all of the bodies from the Titanic.
Of course, no.
And there have been explorers and expeditions and everything going down there. And it's just the worst possible condition down at the bottom of the ocean. Somebody said earlier this week, there are more things we know about outer space probably than we know about the bottom of the ocean.
No, more people have been in outer space than have been those depths at the, what is it, 12,500 feet below the
well
surface?
Over 2 miles deep.
Unbelievable.
Think about how long 2 miles is. When you're driving on a road trip and you see a sign, hey, 2 miles until your exit. Think about how far that is, and now imagine it's nothing but water. And the further you go, the more pressure, and just a horrifying situation. And it has come to an end with the vessel being found, and all 5 folks on board have lost their lives. Nigel, another Republican has decided to run for the presidency.
Shut up.
This is a big one.
Are you serious?
This one is earth-shattering. I'm not one for hyperbole, but this may be the biggest name you're going to hear in the Republican primary.
Okay.
Running for president, former Texas House Rep Will Hurd.
In my best Rob Kendall voice. Who?
Former Texas House Representative Will Hurd. Let's hear from Will Hurd.
I want to let everybody know that this morning I filed to be the Republican nominee for President of the United States. This is a decision that my wife and I decided to do because we live in complicated times and we need common sense.
And I'd like to also, I want to siphon some votes away from DeSantis so Trump will win. That's all. That's all this is. Get a bunch of guys to run, and then you're siphoning away votes from DeSantis, who is, I guess, at best 30 points behind Donald Trump.
Right.
I mean, okay, whatever.
Can I change my answer? Because you and I had a conversation off air the other day. Who do you think is going to be the first one to drop out? Like if we're doing an Indy 500 race pool, you get paid for the first one out normally. I said I thought it'd be Larry Elder because I haven't heard a single thing about Larry Elder. He may have blown his money at his failed run for the governor's seat in California. I want to change my answer to Will Hurd.
Who'd I say? Doug?
I think you had the mayor of Miami.
No, I said Doug.
Did you go with Doug?
I think the North Dakota governor.
Doug. Not even worthy of a last name. You have Doug, and I've got Will Hurd.
Who knows? Trump was at 1% when he declared in 2015. Anything can happen. Now, I think it's going to be, I think we kind of know what's going to happen this time around. But
I know what's going to happen. Will Hurd is not going to win. I feel pretty confident.
Never know.
I'm a man that likes to roll the dice and make a bet or two, and I feel pretty confident pushing all my chips in and saying there's a better chance that I will be the first pick in the NBA draft tonight than Will Hurd becoming the next president. The guy that's leading the Republicans, Donald Trump, last night, and listen, you have to tip your hat to the guy. He literally just made a video to justify crapping on all of those candidates drawing 1% or less.
Yeah, everybody always criticizes Donald Trump. Why are you punching down?
Don't punch down.
Yeah, what are you wasting your time with these ne'er-do-wells?
These bottom feeders. He literally made a video for the sole purpose of explaining why he's going to punch down.
Many say don't punch down when talking about people like Chris Sununu or Sloppy Chris Christie or Ada Hutchinson. I call him Ada, not Asa, because of certain reasons, or others. But sometimes it's necessary to talk badly about those that for no reason other than politics speak badly about you. Otherwise, the people that love you don't know whether or not they're for real. Are they saying the truth? They're not. So sometimes you have to punch down and you have to say what's happening. Otherwise, they won't understand. It's not fair to them. You have to put them in proper perspective, these bad people. You have to put them in their place. Thank you very much.
That was it. A minute video explaining why he likes to punch down, why he's got to punch down. I want to know why he's not calling Asa Hutchinson, the former Arkansas governor. I wonder why he call him Ada.
Maybe we need another video from him.
Yeah.
Because he's been pumping these bad boys out left and right. He put another one out ripping on Ron DeSantis and this super PAC group that's supporting him.
The very stupid and little respected China-loving Club for No Growth, which has been backing Ron DeSanctimonious as his poll numbers have been absolutely crashing, has just spent some of the rhino money they have accumulated on an ad campaign, hoping to counter the fact that DeSantis, just off the worst presidential launch in history, opted 3 times to cut and destroy Social Security, even lifting the minimum age to 70 years old. He also voted to cut Medicare and institute a 23% national sales tax, which will hit our country hard. Ron has always been a loser.
Jeez. I will say DeSanctimonious's launch of his presidential campaign was a disaster.
The Twitter Spaces. Yeah. Bit of a hot mess. I mean, had Elon had his act together, would it have been any better? Or was the whole idea just kind of lame? I don't know. But it was kind of a mess. So remember when Trump went on Truth Social and went after his former press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany?
Yeah.
Called her milquetoast.
Yeah, which was, again, completely unnecessary. She stood there every day and took bullets for him. And she was good at her job, too.
Well, last night, she was doing the 8 p.m. program on Fox, and she was interviewing Ron DeSantis. A lot of people are saying this line we're about to play was a shot back at Donald Trump. Take a listen and tell me what you think.
I have this very distinct memory. I was in the Oval Office with Dr. Anthony Fauci in the Situation Room with him. I mean, this man made you think like your days were numbered. All of our days were numbered, all 323 million of us, you know. But then I go to Florida. I met you on a tarmac, And you were saying some pretty bullish things about opening the state. I was a bit taken aback because it was such a contrast to kind of the groupthink I was hearing there in Washington. But you earned the ire of the left on your COVID response. Now you're getting attacked from the right. There were a variety of responses to COVID. Why was yours the right one?
So she's telling Ron DeSantis, your ideas were so different than the groupthink with Fauci and
Donald Trump.
Right, in the Situation Room.
Trump included in the groupthink.
Right,
category.
Along with Dr. Fauci. So maybe that was just, Miss McEnany speaking off the cuff there, or maybe that was a calculated shot at Donald Trump.
Could we play? I know we're up against it. I want to hear what DeSantis had to say on the COVID.
Well, we made a decision to buck Fauci, buck the medical establishment, buck the media, the left, and some Republicans, and say, you know what? People in Florida have a right to work. The businesses have a right to be open. Kids have a right to be in school, and we're not going to impose mask mandates or the like or vaccine mandates. And the minute we did that, we became the focal point for freedom in this country. If you had been in like the Florida Panhandle...
Okay, you can stop that right there, Allison. So here's what Ron DeSantis really meant.
Buck Fauci, buck the medical establishment, buck the media, the left, and some Republicans.
That's what he really meant. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Rob, here's a number I'd like you to consider.
Yes.
35%.
Oh.
How would you like to get a 35% bonus when you invest your money?
Yes, please.
So if you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. But don't wait, because this 35% bonus, it ends on Friday, June 30th.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. You can sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn how you could get this 35% bonus by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Remember, this 35% bonus offer ends on Friday, June 30th. So don't wait. Call today. Get your 35% bonus by calling 317-932-9912. That number, 317-932-9912.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
We set out to be the very best of the best, and the past couple years we've actually achieved that. For all of the state of Indiana, we've been awarded the Dealer of the Year award twice now. Unlike other brands, that only gets handed to one dealer every year, and we're very proud to have won that twice.
Put the best to work for you at FamilyHVAC.net. Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry item and get up to 5 years special interest financing or take up to $5,000 off right now. Everyone's loving this because you get to design your ring and your payment plan and take advantage of our most flexible options ever. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. Enjoy financing for up to 5 whole years or get our best ever sales price. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'm attorney Darryl Isaacs, the Hammer. Have you been injured by a dog bite? Let us take on the big insurance companies, and we'll fight to get you the money you deserve. Go to WeWin.com for your free case evaluation. Just click and get help quick. Go to WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
Other concrete contractors often ask, how do you offer a warranty? And I tell them, build it just like it's your own. Deeper base, stronger and thicker concrete, rebar, anti-slip sealer, and caulk. Indy Decorative Concrete, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
Your Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Cruise over to Fairmount, Indiana, Saturday, June 24th for the James Dean Spring Run Car Show. Hundreds of street rods, American classics, incredible muscle cars take over James Dean's hometown, celebrating his classic cool spirit. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana, classic cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
If you're a Medicaid member, you should know guaranteed coverage is coming to an end. Keep an eye on your mailbox for important information from Medicaid. When you receive it, go online and enter your updated information to maintain your coverage or to find other coverage if you're no longer eligible for Medicaid. Keep your health and keep your coverage. Learn more at fssabenefits.in.gov.
Pierce Jewelers wants you to know the diamond world has changed. You can choose mined or lab-grown diamonds. Unlike chain stores, Pierce Jewelers carries both. They can educate and help you save your hard-earned money.
Now through month end, get summer road trip ready at Hubler, where every new car includes their 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Visit drivehubler.com.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Royal Spa.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live, whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Quick shout out to our friends at Harry and Izzy's at the airport. They were named 7th best airport restaurant in the world.
Nice.
Always want to give a shout out to our friends, and you want to give a special shout out to somebody.
Well, we get a knock on our door this morning. I was gone already. My wife wasn't able to answer because she was on a call. It was Drew Storen, friend of the show, former Major League Baseball pitcher, hailing from Brownsburg, Indiana. Mark Patrick, iconic. His dad is iconic broadcaster. We've had him in the show. He's got his own line of Field of Dreams bourbon whiskey, and he dropped a couple of bottles off at my front porch for us today.
Awesome.
So thanks to Drew. I'll take him. I mean, that was completely unnecessary. You don't have to do that, man. But thanks to Drew for stopping by, and so I'll bring you your bottle tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper. All right, Matt Bear, what's going on?
All right, fellas, looking at northbound 37 jams at Effler because of construction. Eastbound 70 a whole lot better with 465 open. Eastbound 70 stop and go from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Eastbound 465 jams at Keystone crash. Moeller at 38th. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
I like it when our friends have success. Drew Storen's bourbon line's taken off.
Blown up.
Harry and Izzy's, the airport location, getting national recognition.
Well, it's newly renovated. It looks fantastic.
There's nothing better than just tying one on and getting some grub at the airport.
Absolutely.
When you're getting ready to go on vacation.
Yeah.
That's the best. 77 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. We've got top story coming up next. If you missed the press conference from the United States Coast Guard, unfortunately, it is bad news. We'll reset everything we know next.
Prime home selling season is here. Active buyers, stabilizing mortgage rates. Now's a good time to get your home sold for max dollars. The smart choice, the choice I'd make. Hire Mark Dietl. Here's what Matt in Greenfield had to say. I have investment properties, so I know who's good in the real estate world. I heard about Mark Dietl, and it's true. I hired Mark for the most recent home sale. He delivered a cash offer with no inspection and no appraisal in days.
Mark Dietl is the only real estate expert that we trust and we recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel show. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is an amazing guarantee. So reach out to Mark Dietl today, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Listen, joint pain is a thief. No two ways about it.
That's football legend Emmitt Smith, who knows a thing or two about pain.
It steals your joy, your time with family, or doing things you love. It can even steal your livelihood. But QC Kinetics can help put a stop to that.
Don't hand everything over to pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, a cutting-edge technology that helps relieve pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back using healing properties directly from your own body.
It's easy. Get treated in the office and walk right out afterward.
Simple, right? And QC Kinetics' remarkable all-natural treatments deliver long-lasting relief without surgery or long recovery times.
Don't let soreness or achiness rob you of doing the things you love. Tell that pain, not today, not ever. You've got QC Kinetics on your side.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Join us at Downtown Indy's Fourth Fest, presented by UA Local 440 on the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. The event begins with a street party featuring live music, games, food, ice cream, and a beer garden from 6 to 10 p.m., followed by a spectacular fireworks display. The street party is brought to you by Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana, reminding you that one organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Sign up at donatelifeindiana.org and talk to your family about your decision. For more info about the fireworks, go to downtownindy.org.
When America's debt bubble bursts, it could destroy the value of your 401k or IRA. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is why I recommend gold IRAs. And Birch Gold Group is the only gold IRA company I trust. Right now, you can get a free info kit on gold when you text the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to 989898 to request your no-cost, no-obligation info kit today.
GeoFocus Academy is the premier online private school for Indiana students, helping students build a successful future regardless of race, income, or geographic boundaries. 96% of Indiana residents qualify to attend tuition-free using the Indiana Choice Scholarship. With certified teachers and hands-on learning from home, you can create a bright future for your child. Now enrolling grades K through 12 for the 2023-2024 school year. Learn more at k12.com/GFA. GeoFocus Academy, where education clicks.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg. This is your premier gun store. Premier Arms has the experience and know-how to help the new gun buyer and the most experienced marksman. They've been in business for over 20 years and have a friendly, knowledgeable staff that wants to help you, not talk down to you. Premier Arms in Brownsburg is family-friendly, so bring the kids. All ages are welcome. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street. Online at premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. premierarms.com.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why your former governor wants to focus on the future, not the past. Kurt Darling reports on the third phase of Operation North Star in Indianapolis. And the Indiana Pacers get to add to their roster tonight. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. Debris from the Titan tourist vessel has been found hundreds of feet from the wreckage of the Titanic, the very wreckage the 5 people on board sought to explore.
In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber.
Coast Guard Rear Admiral John Mauger, news of the discovery of the debris coming after the submersible's owner, OceanGate, issued a statement that all 5 souls on board had died.
On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families.
It's not clear whether the implosion occurred Sunday when Titan was first reported missing or in the days that followed. President Biden welcoming India Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the White House. Modi addressing a joint session of Congress this hour that some House members elected to skip.
Several progressive Democrats boycotted Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech to Congress, citing his government's treatment of religious minorities like Muslims and a crackdown on dissent. Asked about those issues, Modi told reporters through an interpreter,
regardless of caste, creed, religion, gender, there's absolutely no space for discrimination.
Modi's engagement with reporters is rare, only occasionally sitting for interviews.
Fox's Jared Halpern, the president and first lady, hosting Modi for a state dinner this evening. After multiple attempts to shield the information, a court filing revealing George Santos's father and aunt were the ones who guaranteed bail for the indicted New York congressman. Santos pleading not guilty to 13 federal charges, including lying to the House of Representatives. On Wall Street, the Dow down 4 points, the S&P 500 up 16, the NASDAQ up 128. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What he's focused on, 77 degrees with plenty of clouds over the Monument Circle. Your radar is clear. It should stay that way with the low dropping to 64 later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Your former governor and now presidential candidate Mike Pence only wants to focus on the future, not the results of the last presidential election.
Where we stumbled in 2022, I believe, was where we had candidates that were focused on the past, that were focused particularly on relitigating the past.
Talking to WIBC's Tony Katz, Pence says it's time to step forward and focus on what's important, like improving the country's economy. A man in Hamilton County Court today said he had an explosive in his car this morning. Noblesville police stepped in and found no credibility to that threat after they searched the man's car about 15 minutes after noon. It's called Operation North Star. U.S. Marshals have returned to Indianapolis to work with IMPD and sheriff deputies to try and grab homicide and drug suspects on the run. Kurt Darling reports.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestal says he's happy to be working with the feds.
I will point out that there's 188 people in jail right now charged with murder, and very few of them surrendered themselves. So important enforcement actions like this today is what gets the people off the street.
The operation has led to thousands of arrests nationwide in the last 3 years. Phase 3 of the operation kicking off last week with the arrest of Joshua Smiley in Avon. He was among the top 15 most wanted by U.S. Marshals for a murder in Alabama. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
3 people caught with a machine gun, pistol, weed, and over 50 oxycodone pills were arrested Tuesday. Billy Coleman, Daylid Williams, and Darius Perkins were all 3 arrested. Police say they had reason to believe they were engaged in criminal activity, which led to them being arrested north of downtown off Delaware Street. The NBA draft is tonight, and the Indiana Pacers have a pick inside the top 10 once again. They get the 7th overall selection in the draft, plus 3 more picks after that. Indiana chose Benedict Mathurin with the 6th overall pick a year ago. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Since 1988, Gennesaret Free Clinics has been providing free, high-quality, and accessible health care, regardless of the patient's health insurance coverage or ability to pay. They've served thousands of the most vulnerable Central Indiana community members, including those experiencing homelessness and living in poverty. Gennesaret's services include free medical clinics, mobile medical clinic, dental clinic, women's health services program, and health respite home program. Gennesaret Free Clinics is a nonprofit organization that relies on the philanthropy of the community. They need your help to provide free, compassionate, and patient-centered healthcare directly to those who need it the most. Your donation of just $50 will provide 20 patients with wellness kits and an entry to completely free care. You can make a difference. Donate now by calling 317-639-5645 or visiting Gennesaret.org. That's GENNESARET.org.
With traffic in the 5s at 4:05. What's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, eastbound 465 stops at Keystone to Allisonville. Inbound 65, slow down from 29 to Meridian. Penn eastbound at 70, stop and go from Harding over to Meridian, Illinois. Northbound 37, stop and go traffic right now on the south side from Epler Avenue to 465 because of construction. Traffic sponsored by Comcast Business. Is it possible to protect your small business from big cyber threats? It is with the help of advanced security from Comcast Business. Restrictions apply. Requires Comcast Business Internet Leased Router and Security Edge. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A mostly cloudy night is ahead for us with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, we'll see a few showers possible during the work week. Best chance for rain is in the eastern half of Indiana with highs near 80. I'm Wish TV Storm Track Gate meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's rock it!
It was a worldwide story. People have been paying attention to this for days, keeping their eyes on the Titan submersible that was supposed to be a tourist attraction. You go down in this thing, and you can see the Titanic at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The U.S. Coast Guard says search teams found debris from that submersible near the Titan wreck, and they say it was, quote, consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber and or consistent with water column implosions.
It started with the tail cone being discovered in that debris field, and then they found more debris, and I believe some cameras were able to finally go down to the bottom parts of the ocean where the Titanic is sitting. And this was from the press conference earlier today from the United States Coast Guard.
The location of the Titan submersible was in an area that was approximately 1,600 feet from the wreck of the Titanic. I have an expert here that is familiar with that area and can talk about the debris field and what the debris field indicates in terms of where the casualty may have occurred.
Rear Admiral, really quickly, can you tell me when that massive fleet will be called back?
And this was the Coast Guard press conference earlier today.
Thank you, Admiral. So the question is, where does the wreck lie in relation to the Titanic? I didn't hear the Admiral's answer. I think 1,600 feet. Was that correct, Admiral?
Yep, you got it.
So that's off the bow of Titanic. It's in an area where there is not any debris of Titanic. It is a smooth bottom. There, to my knowledge and anything I've seen, there's no Titanic wreckage in that area.
So that was the press conference earlier.
Well, it's unclear. I still haven't been able to find whether or not they're going to be able to recover anything or bring it to the surface. It sounded by that press conference that that guy said the actual vessel that they were in was 1,600 feet away from the Titanic, which again sounded like it imploded or the hull was crushed or the integrity of the hull was breached, and which also tells me, as bad as it is, I'm glad they didn't have to suffer. It sounds to me like it was pretty quick.
An implosion as opposed to running out of oxygen.
Right.
And we're still working on a timeline. The United States Coast Guard says they can't give us one just yet. They're still working on the details for a timeline. Nigel, earlier today, Ron DeSantis, he was doing an event and he was asked a question that Donald Trump often gets asked. If you are not the nominee, will you support Donald Trump if he is the nominee? Normally, Trump gets that question. If you're not the guy, will you support the nominee? And he kind of dances around it. Here's Ron DeSantis answering that same question.
I don't think it's going to ultimately matter in the end. I think we're going to be successful. But at the same time, you get into these processes. It's like, I want to beat Biden, okay? I will do that. I will get that done. And I think more importantly than that, I will actually bring these policies for a landing and get it all done up there. It's one thing to promise things, but when you don't deliver on it, then it's like, okay, then they get in and then they get to do stuff by the time they get in. So we'll do it. But it's a important process. And, you respect the process and you respect the people's decisions, how this goes. But I'm very confident that those decisions are going to be positive for us.
Well, that was a long way of saying, maybe, maybe not.
He danced around it too.
Boy, did he ever. That was, wow. Wow, he do-si-doed around that question. Eventually, and first of all, isn't that one of the requirements to participate in this first debate coming up in August? Don't you have to sign some form that says, to be able to get to debate on this stage for Fox News, Brett Baer and Martha McCallum, I believe, are the moderators. One of the stipulations is you have to sign a thing saying, I will support, if I am not the nominee, I will support whoever the GOP nominee is.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure they're really going to hold people to that. Like if Donald Trump is not the nominee, do you really see him out there on the campaign trail for Ron DeSantis?
I don't think Ron DeSantis wants anything to do with Trump on the campaign trail.
Goes both ways
with him. So I think at the very least, say Trump wins the nomination, DeSantis says, yes, I'm going to vote for him, but that's about it.
And
At
listen,
the very least.
just lie on the form. What are they going to do? Throw you in jail? Wait a minute. You lied on the waiver that you signed to say you would support each other. You screwed up. You trusted us. Speaking of elections, I'm fascinated by what happened in Virginia the other night. Didn't get a lot of media attention, but Virginia had their primary. And this just kind of draws that line in the sand that we're heading to a good old-fashioned culture war. So in Virginia, the governor, Glenn Youngkin, the folks that he endorsed, they won. He was a rock star. The folks that Youngkin endorsed that make it known they're going against some of these radical leftist lunatics, they all won in their primary. Meanwhile, on the other side, all of the George Soros-backed candidates that had big money behind them, that are the most radical of lunatics you can find, every single one of them won. So it's coming down to the nitty-gritty here. You've got the folks that say, you guys are out of your minds, and then you've got the folks that are backed by George Soros that believe everything should be free.
Yeah, but Youngkin was a story in and of itself when he won the governorship. I mean, that was not expected really at all. And then you had all the things that happened in Loudoun County where there was a trans boy in the bathroom that sexually assaulted a woman, a girl. And then you had the student council, not the student council, but the school board, have a meeting, arrested that girl's dad for having the gall to speak up about his daughter who was assaulted in the bathroom.
That really was ground zero where
really
we found out what was happening in some of these schools around the country.
Absolutely. So I don't know. You said it yourself. The George Soros-funded freaks that have a lot of money are going to do well.
They are.
If you have that kind of money backing you.
What does that mean for other states? What does that mean for the general election? If Soros just puts his money behind it, does that mean it's going to win? Or if you find somebody that you actually believe in, and it feels like the Republicans believe in Glenn Youngkin in Virginia, and he endorses somebody and gives his name to support somebody else, can that carry the water for those Republicans?
Well, guess what? Here in Indiana, our governor gave his full endorsement to Mike Pence.
Okay.
That's it? Okay. Does that do anything for you?
Nothing.
No?
Not a thing.
Pence is good. Pence is going all the way to the top with that endorsement. He's shooting straight up there.
Suzanne Crouch, who was his lieutenant governor, doesn't even necessarily want his name attached to her. She's trying to win an election, but she's also got to escape his shadow of being locked down McGee during COVID. If you need a reason to drink tonight, Nige, if you're looking to tie one on, maybe this is something you and Mrs. Nige could do together. It's National Kissing Day today.
National Kissing Day.
June 22nd, National Kissing Day.
These days are so stupid. Who makes this crap up?
So how about we celebrate with great moments in kissing history?
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off of beating COVID, this was Donald Trump.
One thing with me, the nice part, I went through it. Now they say I'm immune. I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss.
Kiss the guys?
The beautiful women?
That's a guy, but I love him. I forgot about that clip. That was hilarious.
Great moments in kissing history. This was a sideline report during a game that ESPN was carrying that featured the New York Jets. Let's go to Susie Colbert and I believe an overserved Joe Namath.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you.
His nose was red. His face was red. He took his shot at Susie Colbert.
You got to go for it. I mean, if you would go for it, go for it.
And lastly, great moments in kissing history, Bob Knight.
When my time on earth is gone and my activities here are past, I want they bury me upside down and my critics can kiss my
Great moments in kissing history.
National Kissing Day, you say?
It is.
Okay.
Matt Bear, what's going on?
West side crash eastbound is 70 Belmont, and traffic right now stopped back to Tibbs Avenue, not quite the whole road. Inbound 65 stop and go traffic from 29th to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 465 on the northeast side stop and go from Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we've got cloudy skies, 77 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and we'll play a fun round of Is This Anything next.
Need a new bank for your small business? How about an old one? For a limited time, you can earn up to a $500 cash bonus when you open a free or basic business checking account with Old National. So think big when it comes to your small business and choose a bank where relationships and results have mattered for nearly 200 years. Visit a local banking center or learn more at oldnational.com/success today. Complete qualifying activities within 60 days of account opening. $50 minimum initial deposit required. Account must remain open 120 days. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
The last thing you want to be worried about in the middle of summer is your air conditioning going out. Look, if you're an American Standard air conditioner owner like I am, I don't have to worry about that stuff. So if you need American Standard service, Hammer will tell you who you need to check out.
Oh, I love these people. B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains in Speedway. They came out to my house recently. I had an issue with my AC. They were in, they were out. Oh my goodness, these people are rock stars. If you call B&W, ask about their Premier Club. Premier Club members get a visit from B&W in the spring and the fall, where they check out everything to make sure it's all right. Visit bplusw.com. That's the word B, the word plus, w.com, or just call 243-3581. B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains in Speedway. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
It's summertime and the eating is easy at O'Charlie's. Real easy, in fact, because right now, for just $11.99, you can enjoy any of O'Charlie's Southern Comfort combos, like honey drizzled Southern fried chicken served with 2 sides, and get this, a fountain drink or tea for just $11.99. Or O'Charlie's Country Style Tenders with 2 sides and a drink for just $11.99. There are even more combos to choose from as soon as you walk through the door at O'Charlie's. This just might be the hottest deal around this summer because the food is great, a drink comes with it, and with that price, it's just as tasty as the food. $11.99 combos at O'Charlie's. Oh, that's good.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
The most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry item and get up to 5 years special interest financing or take up to $5,000 off right now. Everyone's loving this because you get to design your ring and your payment plan and take advantage of our most flexible options ever. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. Enjoy financing for up to 5 whole years or get our best ever sales price. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
We love spring showers, but not from leaky faucets, burst pipes, or flooded basements. If you're dealing with plumbing issues, call Justin Dorsey Plumbing. We're ready to spring into action. Call 317-648-2140 for 24/7 service and no after-hours fees. That's 317-648-2140. cry about your plumbing problems. Call Today, Fix Today is the Justin Dorsey Plumbing way.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll. Yeah, Hammer, how do we play Is This Anything?
I will run some stories by you. You break down all the information, and you give us a verdict. Is the story in question anything or not?
Ready?
Is this anything? A UPS driver in New York pulled a last-second save to help a woman hide her fiance's birthday present. It was all captured on the Ring doorbell.
Rick, I'm at work. It's Hannah.
Oh, Hannah. I got you covered, honey.
All right. Thank you so much. Hide it if you can, because it's a present for Jason. In the mailbox. Or in there. Yep. Under that pillow.
Oh, I'm good. I don't have it delivered. I got the wrong house.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good. You got it, man.
I owe you one, Rick. God, I love you.
So what do I got to do now?
Put it in the mailbox.
Yeah, I'll put it inside the gate over there, just under the gate.
Thank you.
You got it, honey. See ya.
You're the best. Bye.
I love it because the fiance, the woman was at a remote location. Like, she was speaking to him through the Ring doorbell. Hey, you gotta hurry, hide that. And then the fiance opens the door and he plays dumb. Oh, sorry, this isn't for you. I got the wrong house. Love it. People love UPS drivers. People love their good. Like in my neighborhood, especially down our court, I believe all the neighbors, all the female neighbors, all the moms got our UPS driver like a gift card for Christmas, which I think is kind of normal. You have your normal everyday UPS driver. If he's consistently the same guy, you maybe get him a gift. Same.
Is he a good-looking guy?
Oh yeah, that might have something to do with it.
Because I got a hunch that if Steve Buscemi was the UPS guy, I don't know if all the moms in the block would get together to get him a gift.
Thought about that.
Didn't Tom Brady do an SNL sketch about that where he's walking around the office and he can get away with certain behavior, but other folks like Andy Samberg couldn't get away with?
Didn't we try to do something like that, a video that got shut down by HR?
We did. We had a Hammer and Nigel video where our good-looking male model guy, Ben Polizzi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's walking around shirtless with a banana hanging out of his pants. And like Maddie from the digital office was like, oh, thank you for lunch. And then I kind of come around the corner. Do you want to go out to lunch? And she throws a stapler at my face.
And that got ixnayed by the previous owners.
Yeah.
We couldn't put that out there.
We couldn't have a digital girl reaching for a banana in Ben's pants.
No, but the footage is somewhere still, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we finished the video.
It's probably upstairs along with our cease and desist from Morgan Freeman.
That's right. I don't know. We got new owners. Maybe we could put that out there now. And figure out where that's at. Ask Nick if he could find that. Because that was a hilarious video.
That was one of our best pieces of work that we never got to put out there. Is this anything? A TikTok influencer posted about...
I already hate this story.
It's already nothing. A TikTok influencer posted and was bragging about defrauding credit card companies to buy nice things. Here he is describing this little scheme.
Let's say, for example, you'll get a car or a credit card in your personal name. You're personally held responsible for that. So if you're going to be held liable, and if you don't make that payment back, the bank can come and sue you. With business credit, you are not personally held responsible for that line of credit. So let's say, for example, how I got this watch. I went and opened business credit cards in that account. I then proceeded to go on, buy this for $100,000. I'm going to turn around and sell it to a jeweler for $80,000 in cash, which now gives me the cash. I'll file bankruptcy on the company. I'll never have to actually pay it back.
No, this is nothing. This guy is a scumbag. What a dishonest creep. And you put that out there on TikTok for everybody to see, like you're proud of it. So you defraud the not only to buy a $100,000 watch. If I understood him correctly, if you open up a business account or credit card, then you don't have to pay it back, and then you can declare bankruptcy. Yeah, that's I mean, that's kind of indicative of this world we're living in right now. You got to find the easy way. Just take the easy way out.
Everything that you just said at the beginning there was pretty much the same reaction that I had to Governor Holcomb endorsing Mike Pence. No, this is nothing. You put this out there and you expect people to be happy with it, and you're just a creep.
Sorry, and by the way, I don't believe this idiot either. You're going to go to jail. You're going to get charged with fraud. I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form that he's not going to get in trouble for that.
Exact same reaction.
Throw him in jail.
Is this anything? Did you know that pointing a laser at an airplane is a serious crime that will land you in prison?
Oh, yeah.
Here is a pilot with a story of how quickly the FBI reacted when one was pointed at her during a flight.
If you think it's funny to shoot a laser at an airplane, it's not. I was getting lasered, so it's a green laser that flashes, and they try to blind the pilot. I think people think it's funny. I just put my head down with my passenger and just flew by the instruments, and then I let LaGuardia Tower know that we're getting lasered right now, and then they've just vectored us back home. The FBI called me. They narrowed it down within a 0.3-mile radius of the top of the building that someone was shooting the laser at me. They will find you. You will go to jail.
Yeah, the FBI could find the one guy standing on top of a building within a mile of where the airplane was, but they can't find Epstein's real killer.
I never thought of it that way.
Sure, yeah, suicide, great. Yeah, the tape's missing. The guards fell asleep. Sure, okay. Now, what is cool is that she mentioned the instruments. She flew by the instruments. So she put her head down and was just, you can fly like a personal airplane or a jet for that matter, like a 747, 737. You have to be instrument rated. That means if it's like cloudy, you can't see out the window, you have to rely on your instruments. Like what, the altimeter? Is that something on an airplane?
I have no idea.
I think that's something on an airplane. But you have to be, you can read those instruments, not even look out the window and be able to land that plane. So that's pretty impressive.
It's a Hammer and Nigel show.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword INFO 42 to 866-482-9559. That's INFO 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Did you or a loved one serve in the United States military? Do you know all the VA medical benefits that might be available to you or your loved one? If you served 2 or more years in the military and were honorably discharged, you may be eligible for VA medical benefits. Some of those VA medical benefits might even be free. To learn more, simply follow VA Indianapolis on Facebook and Twitter. Follow VA Indianapolis on Facebook and Twitter. Get the VA medical benefits you earned and deserve.
Join us at Downtown Indy's Fourth Fest, presented by UA Local 440 on the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. The event begins with a street party featuring live music, games, food, ice cream, and a beer garden from 6 to 10 p.m., followed by a spectacular fireworks display. The street party is brought to you by Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana, reminding you that one organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Sign up at donatelifeindiana.org and talk to your family about your decision. For more info about the fireworks, go to downtownindy.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. on the go.
A new campaign with the same opinions. Cloudy and 76 on the Circle. Your radar's clear tonight. There are no chances for rain later. Low temps drop to the mid-60s. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. Mike Pence says a run for president doesn't mean he'll be changing his mind on any controversial issues. That includes abortion.
There were many examples where men and women who were running for office who took a strong pro-life position, governors around the country who passed strong pro-life measures, did fine in the election.
Talking to Tony Katz and WIBC, Pence also says American support for Ukraine is paramount, especially in the eyes of communist China. 3 people caught with a machine gun, pistol, and weed, and over 50 oxycodone pills were arrested Tuesday. Billy Coleman, Dalen Williams, and Darius Perkins were the 3 suspects. Police say they had reason to believe all 3 were engaged in criminal activity. That led to their arrest north of downtown off Delaware Street. The Coast Guard confirms the submersible used to view the Titanic was found demolished on the ocean floor.
An ROV, or remote operated vehicle, discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic.
Rear Admiral John Mauger gave his condolences to the family members affected. The vessel had been missing since Sunday. India's prime minister defended his government's human rights records during a visit with President Biden today. Fox's Jared Halpern reports.
Several progressive Democrats boycotted Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech to Congress, citing his government's treatment of religious minorities like Muslims and a crackdown on dissent. Asked about those issues, Modi told reporters through an interpreter,
regardless of caste, creed, religion, gender, there's absolutely no space for discrimination.
Modi's engagement with reporters is rare, only occasionally sitting for interviews. He's also not held any formal news conferences since becoming prime minister in 2014. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
$3.52 is the average price for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, says GasBuddy.com. Your stock report, the Dow dropped by 4 points to 33,946. The NASDAQ up by 128 to 13,630. And the S&P 500 up by 16 to 4,381. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
Rob, here's a number I'd like you to consider.
Yes.
35%.
Oh.
How would you like to get a 35% bonus when you invest your money?
Yes, please.
So if you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. But don't wait, because this 35% bonus, it ends on Friday, June 30th.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. You can sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn how you could get this 35% bonus by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Remember, this 35% bonus offer ends on Friday, June 30th. So don't wait. Call today. Get your 35% bonus by calling 317-932-9912. That number, 317-932-9912.
With traffic at 4:34, here's Matt Baer.
Harrison, it's the west side where we have a crash at Belmont. That's going to be before Harding Street, blocking the fast lane traffic stop past Holt Road. Northbound 465 on the northwest side, stop and go through the ramp to northbound 65. Eastbound 465 jams at Westfield Boulevard to Keystone Avenue. Inbound 65 stop and go to downtown MLK to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A mostly cloudy night is ahead for us with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, we'll see a few showers possible during the work week. Best chance for rain is in the eastern half of Indiana with highs near 80. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You people disgust me.
Hammer and Nigel.
Oh, are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Allison, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. It is time to check in with wheelin', dealin', hair sniffing, kiss stealing Joe Biden! Woo!
I got hairy legs.
Happy birthday, dear Alvin.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
So, President Joe Biden had some interesting comments about gun rights and gun right advocates at a campaign event in California yesterday, Nigel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
President Applesauce Brain says, quote, I love these guys who say the Second Amendment is, the tree of liberty is water with the blood of patriots. Well, if you want to do that, you want to work against the government. You need an F-16. You need something else, just an AR-15. That was the exact transcript that I was given from his speech about gun control yesterday.
Well, it sounds like he's threatening the use of F-16s against Americans. I mean, how dangerous is that? I mean, the left talks about all the time, the biggest threat to democracy is white supremacy, and these radical MAGA Republicans are violent. And you have Joe Biden saying, I'm going to use the military against my own citizens if you dissent. That's what he was saying. Make no mistake about it.
Like Assad somewhere going, man, the old man's spitting today.
And by the way, tell that to people in the Ukraine about the Second Amendment. Well, there is no Second Amendment, but it just goes to show the validity of their concerns, of people's concerns about the government and invasion and having a right to protect yourself. They can't... Zelensky couldn't wait to hand out AK-47 to its citizens who were being invaded by a foreign entity.
You know what my favorite part of the money and aid to Ukraine is? Watching it all end up in the hands of the Mexican drug cartels. That's just been such a treat to watch, but I digress. Here's a little bit more. This is the transcript that the White House provides for what Joe Biden said during his anti-gun event in California. Quote, I'm a Second Amendment guy. I taught it for years, 6 years in law school. And guess what? It doesn't say that you can own any weapon you want. You couldn't own a cannon. You can't own a machine gun.
Guy Relford would argue that you can own one.
Well, funny you bring that up because I texted Guy Relford earlier, and he responded, is an AR-15 a weapon of war or not? And yes, you can own a machine gun and you can own a cannon if you want.
Well, you would think that after, 4 years, 6 years in law school, to use the exact quote, that Joe Biden would know that. Man, I can't get over this thing where, you want to take me on? I'll send the U.S. military after you if you decide that you want to own a powerful rifle like an AR-15.
He's threatening the military. He's already got the Department of Justice.
Absolutely, he does. Great point.
So that's what's going on with Joe Biden. And now we're going to transition a little bit here. We're going to talk about gun-toting, crack-smoking, stripper-poking Hunter Biden.
You smoke crack, don't you?
Don't smoke crack.
Then the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
So now, in light of Hunter Biden basically getting this little slap on the wrist, sweetheart deal from his good friends at the Biden Department of Justice, the House Ways and Means chair, a guy by the name of Jason Smith, held a press conference earlier today and says he's got whistleblowers that can confirm that the IRS recommended substantially harsher penalties against Hunter Biden. And the whistleblower also confirms that the feds were dragging their feet. They were slow going the whole Hunter Biden story.
The testimony we released today shows the IRS recommended charges against Hunter Biden that included attempt to evade or defeat tax, a felony, fraud or false statements, a felony, and willful failure to file returns, supply information, or pay tax. These tax crimes cover an estimated $2.2 million in unreported tax on global income streams to Mr. Biden and his associates from Ukraine, Romania, and China, totaling $17.3 million from 2014 to 2019. Mr. Biden personally received $8.3 million.
This should infuriate everybody. It should infuriate Democrats as well as Republicans that this guy got away with felonies that people would go serve hard time for. Ask Wesley Snipes.
Right. Kodak Black and Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah, the rapper got charged with the same gun violation that Hunter did and was charged with 3 years in jail.
They're probably saying, we voted for Biden too. We hate Donald Trump too. Why are we going to prison and Captain Cocaine over here is going to skate? What the hell's going on out here?
It all got pled down to misdemeanors. A repeat tax cheat. He knew exactly what he was doing.
So Attorney General Merrick Garland, who's on his revenge tour, because again, it brings joy to my cold, dark heart that it really bothers him he's not on the Supreme Court. And that's why I love to point it out. He's not on the Supreme Court.
So he's got to take his marching orders from a guy like Joe Biden.
Right. A guy that trips and falls when he tries to get up to clean up the poop in his pants. But Merrick Garland was doing some event and somebody actually called him out. Something you won't see from the American media all that often. Listen to this. This is the news director from the AP for Northern Europe. His name is Carl Ritter. He kind of asked the question all of us are wondering at this global press conference to Attorney General Merrick Garland. What do you make of Hunter Biden's plea deal? And is there a different standard of justice?
Carl Ritter, I'm here for the Associated Press. If I can drift off topic for a second, I have a question for Attorney General Garland about the deal that President Biden's son made with the Justice Department, under which he's pleading guilty to some charges and will likely avoid jail time. Some Republicans say he's being treated more leniently than he should have, and compare and contrast the case to that of former President Trump, who's been criminally indicted. Do these cases reflect a different standard of justice depending on political leanings?
So, as I said, from the moment of my appointment as Attorney General, I would leave this matter in the hands of the United States Attorney, who was appointed by the previous president and assigned to this matter by the previous administration, that he would be given full authority to decide the matter as he decided was appropriate.
It takes European press just to actually have the balls to ask that question.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
And it doesn't matter who Trump appointed. It's your show now. Merrick. Stupid name. Merrick.
Merrick. Not on the Supreme Court, Merrick Garland. Real quick before we hit a break here, let's do a little booze news.
All right.
You set him up and I'll knock him back, Lloyd. 1 by 1.
We are gonna read booze news, cause it's really fun.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Nigel presents
Booze News, Booze News.
Yeah.
Time for Booze News. Okay, do you know who the country singer is? Scotty McCreery?
He's got like a really deep voice, doesn't he?
Can we do some mood music here?
Damn straight. Killing me, man. You know I've always been your biggest fan.
Maybe I was thinking of somebody else.
So here is why we are talking about Scotty McCreery, country music star. Is there a liquor that has made you so sick you'll never touch it again? Think about that while I play this clip. Here's Scotty McCreery. Again, he's a country music guy. He's got a great song called 5 More Minutes. Here he is revealing the liquor that he made him so sick he'll never touch it again.
Is there a liquor you'll never drink again? Well, yes, there is. It's Fireball. It's antifreeze. We don't need it. I was hunting, and all my buddies had it against me, just pretending like they were drinking it when really I drank the whole thing. And it was not a good night, not a good morning. Never again.
That's your
Fireball
beverage, my friend.
It's so bad for you. I mean, it really is, but I love it so much. You got it. Here's the secret with Fireball. You gotta have the bottle of Fireball in the freezer, and you also have to have the shot glasses in the freezer as well.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the key.
That's the power move. Putting the shot glass in the freezer.
The shot glass in the freezer. I can't stop. I mean, there's other kind of wannabe like Jack Fire not supposed to have as much sugar as it, but it's just not as good, not nearly as good as Fireball. Is there a liquor that you or Allison maybe be thinking of some that you like maybe imbibed a little too much and then you can't ever drink it again?
I don't even think I'm not even sure they make these anymore. Do you remember Aftershock? Like had like the crystals in the bottle, like
that's Goldschlager. Or did Aftershock have?
Aftershock had the crystals in the bottle. Goldschlager had the things floating in there.
Yeah.
Both of those would be an acceptable answer because of spring break in high school. Allison?
Jack Daniels.
Wow.
Yeah, for some reason, when I was about 22, my roommate, that's all she had available, and we drank too much, and I just can't ever again.
Now, who was the roommate that all she had available was Jack Daniels?
Exactly. I don't know. But
asking for a friend, maybe she'd like to be part of the show. I don't know.
You might be surprised by this, but I can't think of one. I don't have a liquor that's made me so sick I'd never touch it again.
Really? You'll drink anything?
I don't like gin and tonics. I mean, I don't like that. I don't like those Rudy drinks.
Everclear's not my favorite. Gin's not my favorite.
Yeah, gin. I'm trying to think. I mean, I used to down, a fifth of Captain Morgan in a night.
I believe it. I remember some of it.
And now when I have the chance to drink that, it hits me in a different way.
So hit us up.
I've gotten pretty sick. Yeah.
At Hammer and Nigel, what's the one drink that you can't drink anymore?
The liquor.
Of liquor. When it hits you, you just can't do it anymore.
I mean, even Jägermeister I still like every once in a while. That's a tough one.
Oh, my 21st birthday, they lined up 21 shots of Jaeger.
Did you do them?
I did. I got through about 6 or 7 in a row. And then I crawled home on my hands and knees, ripping out the knees of my pants that I had on.
That's the key with Jaeger is, again, it's got to come out of the freezer, and you got to have the shot glasses very cold.
No, I was in a warm bar at the Chug.
Maybe the warm the yellow well tequila that they would serve at bars. You know, when you pour your salt, you'd lick your fingers right there on your wrist,
and it was hot.
And it was just warm. You got to have the tequila.
You're not even sure if it wasn't pee or not. It was just
yellow,
hot,
and it was yellow. It was just awful. So yeah, I couldn't do one of those. I don't think I'd puke.
At Hammer and Nigel.
When America's debt bubble bursts, it could destroy the value of your 401k or IRA. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is why I recommend gold IRAs. And Birch Gold Group is the only gold IRA company I trust. Right now, you can get a free info kit on gold when you text the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to 989898 to request your no-cost, no-obligation info kit today.
Hey, look, if you're tired of eating out at the same old places, you have to try Jay's Lobster and Fish Market in the Garage Food Hall at the Bottle Works District, downtown Indy. Hammer, have you had their signature lobster roll? It is so good. Plus, I know you've had the fish sandwich. So much food for your money.
And also in the Garage Food Hall, Palavano Cubano.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got the tastiest Cuban sandwich in Indy.
So good.
No one comes close to it. Stop by the Garage Food Hall. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Indiana Foundation Service. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at indianafoundation.com.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our Dare to Compare sale. We guarantee none of our competitors will beat us on any price on items that are apples to apples. That's Berlin Gardens, Lazy Boy, Pollywood, Tempur-Pedic, Smith Brothers of Bern, anything in our store. If you do, we'll beat the price and still deliver it for free. Now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
If you're a Medicaid member, you should know guaranteed coverage is coming to an end. Keep an eye on your mailbox for important information from Medicaid. When you receive it, go online and enter your updated information to maintain your coverage or to find other coverage if you're no longer eligible for Medicaid. Keep your health and keep your coverage. Learn more at fssabenefits.in.gov.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Cruise over to Fairmont, Indiana, Saturday, June 24th for the James Dean Spring Run Car Show. Hundreds of street rods, American classics, incredible muscle cars take over James Dean's hometown, celebrating his classic, cool spirit. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana, classic, cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with that symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Summer, birds, bees, and yep, air conditioners. So cool down, save big. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino. Rhino Shield.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Crash west side, eastbound 70 at Belmont. The left lane just opened. Still stopped back to Holt Road. That's causing westbound to slow down from downtown to the airport from West Street to Belmont. Traffic sponsored by Indie Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expanding your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
76 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Real quick, have you ever had Rumple Mints?
Oh, yeah.
Rumple Mints.
That was the first ever shot that I took in a bar with my first fake ID.
We were talking about liquor that's made you so sick you'll never touch it again. I didn't get sick on Rumple Mints, but I was told never to drink it again during radio station events.
Oh, okay.
X103, we were at Rock Lobster. The late Rob Dimmitt would just hand me these things over and over and over again. I couldn't. I was like sitting in the plants by the end of the night at an official station function. Got called into the boss's office the next day.
Nige, does an Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg cage fight do anything for you?
No, and I'm not paying for it. And I would never, pay-per-view. Are you kidding me? Not at all.
Because it sounds like both of these guys want this to kind of happen.
Some sort of charity thing?
I don't know. Like, somebody asked Elon Musk, could he take Zuck in a cage fight? And he tagged him in it. And Zuckerberg was like, name the place, bro. And
I know that he takes lessons or that he does jujitsu or something like that. Yeah.
So that doesn't move the needle for you one way or the other?
I could care less about watching two nerds get in a ring, and it'd be like a fight with Napoleon Dynamite and Kip.
Well, for those who think this might be interesting, for a preview of this fight, let's go to the official cage fighting correspondent of the Hammer and Nigel show, Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
While the warm weather has you feeling like new, get old with a money market account from Old National Bank and earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield. Whether you're saving up for something big or just for a rainy day, Old National is here for you. Earn 5.00% APY with our limited time 12-month introductory money market offer. To earn the promotional rate, account must be funded with a minimum of $10,000 not on deposit at Old National as of April 14th, 2023. Learn more at oldnational.com or visit a local banking center today. Offer not available online. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
Hammer and Nigel here for your Central Indiana American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer, Absolute Comfort. Absolute Comfort specializes in Mitsubishi Electric Ductless Mini Splits. They are diverse systems that can be mounted on your wall or flush with the ceiling. They heat and cool at a very efficient level. These systems can be used to heat or cool specific rooms without ductwork, which ends up being a very clean way to heat and cool your house, business, or even your garage.
These high-tech units are how most of the world heats and cools their homes and offices. These Mitsubishi electric ductless systems have advancements that can sense when a person is in a room and can warm or cool that room to that person's wishes. For the ultimate in efficiency and comfort, contact Chris Wedekin at Absolute Comfort to find out more. AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Seminars July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
The most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry item and get up to 5 years special interest financing or take up to $5,000 off right now. Everyone's loving this because you get to design your ring and your payment plan and take advantage of our most flexible options ever. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. Enjoy financing for up to 5 whole years or get our best ever sales price. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Today's kids and teenagers are facing more challenges than generations before. Culture is questioning basic, unchanging truths. Many parents are looking for direction to lead their kids and teenagers onto right paths. I'm Tina Pavey, Director of Next Gen Ministries at Life Church. We believe parents have what it takes to lead their kids and teenagers on a path that leads to life. And each Life Church campus is eager to partner with parents. For more information, visit one of the Life Church campuses or go to lifechurchin.com. Parents, you can do this. We will help you.
GeoFocus Academy is the premier online private school for Indiana students, helping students build a successful future regardless of race, income, or geographic boundaries. 96% of Indiana residents qualify to attend tuition-free using the Indiana Choice Scholarship. With certified teachers and hands-on learning from home, you can create a bright future for your child. Now enrolling grades K through 12 for the 2023-2024 school year. Learn more at k12.com/GFA. GeoFocus Academy, where education clicks.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what former Indiana Governor and Vice President Mike Pence is focused on for his presidential campaign. 3 people arrested for having guns and drugs north of downtown, and what U.S. Marshals are doing in Marion County. All that and more is coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Your time is 5 o'clock.
Tragedy in the Atlantic. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. U.S. Coast Guard officials confirming all 5 people on board the submersible Titan have died after confirming the debris field near the wreckage of the Titanic was in fact from the tourist vessel.
Rear Admiral John Mauger of the Coast Guard confirmed news no one wanted to hear of what was found near the Titanic.
The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber,
meaning all 5 on board the Titan have been lost. Rear Admiral Mauger said the families were immediately notified. Now comes questions about cause and recovery. More must be learned about both.
Fox's Gernal Scott. As he hosts India's prime minister for a state visit, President Biden was asked about comments he made about China's leader, referring to him as a dictator.
Choosing and avoiding saying what I think is the facts with regard to the relationship with India, with China, is just not something I'm going to change very much.
The president says Secretary of State Antony Blinken had a great trip to China last week, and President Biden still plans to meet with Xi sometime in the future.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The House voting to send a divisive resolution to impeach President Biden to the Judiciary and Homeland Security committees.
The effort, spearheaded by Colorado's Lauren Boebert and conservative members of the party, was seen by Democrats like Jim McGovern as political.
Oh, my God, Mr. Speaker. Let's get real here. Nothing about this is serious.
The decision to send the articles to committee was negotiated by Speaker McCarthy, who did not want the House to vote on the articles.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. On Wall Street, the Dow suffering a fourth straight losing session, dropping 4 points. However, the Nasdaq ends the day up 128, and the S&P gains 16 points. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Sticking with what he believes, 76 degrees and cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar's clear. It should stay cloudy tonight with the low falling to about 64. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. Former Indiana Governor Mike Pence is confident he can stay true to his pro-life values and be a contender for president. Kurt Darling reports.
Abortion is one of the most controversial subjects in today's political culture, and for Pence, he says pro-life Republicans would do well to stick by their convictions.
There were many examples where men and women who were running for office who took a strong pro-life position did fine in the election.
Talking to Tony Katz on WIBC, Pence also says that American support of Ukraine is paramount, especially in the eyes of communist China. He says that support sends a message to the Chinese that military aggression won't be tolerated. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
3 people caught with a machine gun, pistol, weed, and over 50 oxycodone pills were arrested Tuesday. Billy Coleman, Daylon Williams, and Darius Perkins were the suspects. Police say they had a reason to believe all 3 were engaged in criminal activity. That led to their arrest north of downtown off Delaware Street. A 14 and 19-year-old were arrested Wednesday for the murder of Jeremiah Lewis, a 15-year-old who was found dead in a car Sunday. Detectives say he was driving when he was shot on the far west side. Wardell Wright and the 14-year-old girl were arrested on preliminary charges of murder. A bomb threat was lifted this afternoon at the Hamilton County Judicial Center after Noblesville police searched the parking lot. Someone with a court appearance said they had an explosive in their car. A check of the vehicle from police proved there was no credibility behind that threat. It's no secret violent crime is a problem in Indianapolis, as well as other cities in the U.S. That's why U.S. Marshals are back in town for Phase 3 of Operation North Star.
Last year alone, we had over 75,000 apprehensions, including some close to 6,000 homicide suspects. None of that could be achieved if it wasn't for our state and local partners.
That's nationwide, says Ronald Davis, the director of the U.S. Marshals. He says his agents will be working with IMPD again this summer to grab even more murder and drug suspects. The average price that you're paying for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $3.52 for a gallon of regular. That's according to GasBuddy.com. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
The year is almost half over, and you are still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today. Tony Katz here, and the advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right into your achy joint, so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. Patients across America are having life-changing results, and there's no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, you need to stop what you are doing and call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Get started today. Call QC Kinetics for your own complimentary consultation. QC Kinetics is in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. So call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at eastbound 465 on the northeast side. It is stop-and-go traffic, Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65 locks up around MLK to Meridian Bend. Eastbound 70, so much better. Still slow from Harding Street into Meridian, Illinois. South side, eastbound 465 stop-and-go 65 over to Emerson. And then westbound lanes also dragging a bit, Beech Grove, Emerson. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Need appliances fast? Shop Grand Appliance for hundreds of in-stock options, unbeatable prices, and extra rebate savings on top brands like LG. Learn more at grandappliance.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A mostly cloudy night is ahead for us with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, we'll see a few showers possible during the work week. Best chance for rain is in the eastern half of Indiana with highs near 80. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters?
They're weirdos.
So let's rock it.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. The U.S. Coast Guard confirming today that the debris field down by the Titanic is the missing tourist submersible that was carrying 5 passengers. All 5 on board are presumed dead. What they say happened is they found the debris from the Titan submersible near the Titanic. It was about 1,600 feet away from the front of the Titanic. And they said that there was a loss of pressure. It's consistent with, debris is consistent with the water column implosion or a pressure chamber implosion. So it sounds to me like they had been dead a few days and hopefully did not have to suffer.
The Coast Guard press conference stated that they had 5 major pieces of debris that they were looking at. And the first piece that was discovered by an underwater camera was the tail cone. So the tail cone was separated from this little submarine that, again, was only 22 feet long. People compared it to like a minivan. The tail cone was separated, and there were 5 other pieces. And the press conference earlier today indicated that it was a pressure chamber implosion.
The quote from the Coast Guard, quote, "The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families on behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command." Oh, man. This was a story that gripped the world for 5 days. We thought they were down there suffering, and I think this, as horrible as it is, they didn't suffer, it sounds like. It sounded like, to me anyway, and things could change, but it sounded like it was instantaneous.
Right. We don't have a timeline yet.
Right,
the Coast Guard
right.
said they're still working on that, but I think if you asked somebody, anybody, the grim question, and it's very grim, but would you rather be in this thing waiting to be rescued and run out of oxygen and die, or have it happen really fast with some sort of pressure chamber implosion?
Well, they went down. They started going down. Again, this was like a tourist submarine type thing. 5 people in it. It's, like you said, as big as a minivan. And, I mean, you bring a sandwich, you bring a bottle of water, you take a couple hours, you go down to the bottom, you check out the Titanic, and then come back up. So you're asking me if I somehow got stuck at the bottom of the ocean, which is 12,500 feet below surface with no bathroom and oxygen that lasts me about 5 days, 4 to 5 days, with 5 other people in there, I'd go mad. I would be nuts. It would drive me insane. And that would be
panic,
just
the fear. This was
I'm glad it sounds like they did not have to go through that kind of torture.
As grim as it sounds, this sounds like the best case scenario. If we were all under the impression that this was not going to end up well, this was probably the best case situation here. I got to be honest. I can't believe they did it. I can't believe the Republicans pulled it off. What is it that Jeff Goldblum says in Jurassic Park? You did it. You crazy son of a blank, you did it. The House Intelligence Committee, they censured former House Intel Committee Chairman Adam Schiff last night. Now, they have tried to censor Adam Schiff before, and they couldn't get everybody on board because that's what the Republicans do.
No, what it was, the original censure would have had to also pay a penalty of $16 million. And some Republicans balked at that. So
would the Democrats have balked, though?
No, of course
and that's
not.
my point.
Of course not.
Like these wishy-washy, weak Republicans. The Democrats play for blood and guts, and the Republicans, they're just happy to be there. But again, if you're not sure who we're talking about here, Adam Schiff, Allison.
Little pencil neck Adam Schiff.
That guy.
Who went on cable news every day.
The smallest, thinnest neck I've ever seen.
He went on cable news every day for years and lied to the American people that there was direct evidence of Russian collusion perpetrated and pushed to steal dossier. He's now going to face an ethics investigation, as well he should.
And he's going to go down in history as being somebody that has been held accountable, censured by his fellow colleagues. This is what it sounded like last night when the vote came in. The Republicans actually did it, and you hear the Democrats chanting shame, shame right afterwards.
The yeas are 213 and the nays are 209. With 6 answering present, the resolution adopted. Without objection, the motion to consider is laid on the table. House will be in order.
It's like The Handmaid's Tale.
And you know what? These people are getting a dose of their own medicine.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the ridiculous sham impeachment they had with Donald Trump.
Multiple impeachments.
Specifically, the Zelensky phone call, which even Zelensky was like, I didn't have a problem with it, and I got the aid. Now, the folks on the left, maybe not quite to that level, they're getting a dose of their own medicine. Let's hear from Pencil Neck.
To my Republican colleagues who introduced this resolution, I thank you. You honor me with your enmity. You flatter me with this falsehood. You, who are the authors of a big lie about the last election, must condemn the truth tellers, and I stand proudly before you.
The big lie about the last election. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nige. These same House Democrats elected Hakeem Jeffries as the minority leader, correct?
Oh, well, not only that, the known election denier.
Huge election denier.
But they all said the 2016 election was rigged. And Adam Schiff, again, a cable news mainstay for years on end, lying to the American public, lying to his constituents in California, saying, I've got direct evidence. I've got the evidence of Russian collusion. And now we know it was entirely made up. Comey and Biden and
McCabe
Obama,
and Strzok
they
and
all
all
knew
of your
it.
favorite pals.
And Comey, the FBI director at the time, didn't tell the people under him that it was completely fake and went on with this sham investigation. And that's why people, quite frankly, are pissed at Durham in this report that we talked about yesterday. He was getting it from all sides. It's like, so why didn't you subpoena to Durham and McCabe and all these guys from the FBI that knew that the Steele dossier and the Russian collusion hoax was indeed a hoax? Why did you do anything about that?
Let's hear from Indy's Andre Carson.
What I do know, Mr. Speaker, is that Adam Schiff defended the U.S. Constitution. He led an impartial investigation which followed the facts, which led to the first of 2 impeachments of a former president.
Where's his evidence of Russian collusion? The impeachments have nothing to do with what we're talking about here. Where's the evidence? Adam Schiff said, I got the evidence. It's under my bed, next to the big stack of Playboys. You'll find a wiffle ball bat, and then I've got all of the Russian collusion you can handle. Here is freshman representative from the Republican side. She's a flamethrower from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna.
Well, he's going to go down in history for exactly who he is, which is someone that tore apart our country, lied to the American people, exploited and abused his position of power, and ultimately was responsible for one of the biggest fraudulent investigations into any president in the history of the United States. But you know what's interesting is I saw Adam several times today in the halls of Congress, and every time, he looked at the floor, it's going to stick with him. I think regardless of what he's saying, I think it's weighing heavily on him. He's one of only a few to ever be censured in U.S. history.
Now that makes me feel better. Same thing with Merrick Garland. The fact that it drives him nuts that he's not a Supreme Court justice, the fact that this bothers Pencil Neck puts a smile on my face. Matt Baer, what's going on?
Looking at eastbound 465 stop and go from Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road, and then southbound 65 into downtown. That is slow from 21st to the north split. Northbound 65 70 slow to the Washington Street exit from the south split, and northbound 37 on the south side stop from Epler up to 465. It's a construction zone. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
76 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Jiffy Lube owners Steve Sanner and COO Lonnie Hinkle.
Lonnie, as an ASC master technician, what advice do you have for drivers today when it comes to taking proper care of their vehicles?
The biggest problem we see at Jiffy Lube is that drivers have gone from changing their oil every 3,000 miles to changing it every 5,000, 7,500, or even 10,000 miles. Yet very few drivers are checking their oil between oil changes.
How big an issue is that?
More than half of the cars we service at Jiffy Lube arrive at the shop low on oil. Many of those cars are more than a quart low, and some don't even register on the dipstick at all. That can do serious damage to an engine.
It's a good thing Jiffy Lube service includes free fluid checks and top-offs between services, a nice little extra that most others don't offer.
Free fluid top-offs is one of the many reasons that Jiffy Lube is the best choice for professional vehicle maintenance. You never need an appointment, plus our service protects new car and extended warranties.
Simple, fast, and free top-offs between services. Indiana's favorite, Jiffy Lube.
I have energy-efficient Window Nation windows in my house. My neighbors loved the way they looked so much they got them in their house. And we are beating the heat, man. If your windows are sticky and drafty and cracked, hard to open, then you're forcing your AC into overdrive, essentially. Time to beat the heat with Window Nation's summer sale. Save thousands with no money down, no payments, and no interest for 2 years. Call 866-90-NATION or go online, windownation.com.
How about this for a deal? Buy 2 windows and get 2 for free. Any style that you want, and there's no limit. So the more you buy, the more free ones you get. But there's more. How about this? 0, 0, 0. 0 money down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. If you don't take advantage of this deal, you are throwing money away. Call Window Nation today. They'll talk you through everything. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com, but you have to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Rob, here's a number I'd like you to consider.
Yes.
35%.
Oh.
How would you like to get a 35% bonus when you invest your money?
Yes, please.
So if you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. But don't wait, because this 35% bonus, it ends on Friday, June 30th.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. You can sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn how you could get this 35% bonus by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Remember, this 35% bonus offer ends on Friday, June 30th. So don't wait. Call today. Get your 35% bonus by calling 317-932-9912. That number, 317-932-9912.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
At Indiana University,
We're building on more than a century of innovation in Indianapolis to create the nation's premier urban research university. We're preparing more STEM leaders to fuel our economy, graduating more medical professionals to improve Hoosier health, changing the world with more groundbreaking discoveries, and creating a brighter future for everyone. It's all happening right here at Indiana University, Indianapolis. Visit vision.iu.edu to learn more.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's lab-grown or mined diamond store.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Do you suppose we'll meet any wild animals?
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
The dingo ate your baby.
And now Hammer and Nigel proudly presents...
Damn, nature, you scary.
Lions.
And tigers. And bears.
Oh, my.
Oh, this one's gross. Florida's been invaded by giant African land snails.
I hate giant African land snails.
There's two things you hate: Illinois Nazis
and giant African land snails.
Authorities, I mean, they are scrambling. They're falling all over themselves trying to stop these creatures from spreading. They are really considered the most damaging snail in the world.
Now, we're kind of laughing and being grossed out here, but the thing is that these nasty little boogers, they could have a pretty damaging effect on like crops and things like that.
Yeah, like 500 different types of plants. They're reproducing at an alarming rate. And, officials are actually quarantining areas of Florida until further notice. Residents are banned from moving snails and plants out of the quarantine zone. Why don't you just take a flamethrower to these things?
Right.
I mean, it's not like they can run away from you.
I know damn well Florida man has a flamethrower somewhere in his house. The giant African land snail can carry the rat lungworm parasite, which can cause meningitis when passed to humans.
Oh, wonderful. So they're contagious as well.
They're eating the crops. They're contagious. They could give you meningitis, which brings us to great moments in snail history.
That's where Steve Martin and his date go to a really fancy restaurant in the movie The Jerk and order escargot. Of course, he thinks they're snails, which they are.
You would think at a fancy restaurant like this, at these prices, you would be able to keep the snails off the food. There's so many snails in there, you can't even see the food. Now take them away and bring me those melted cheese sandwich appetizers you talked me out of. You believe this? First they didn't have the bamboo umbrellas for the wine, and now snails on the food. 2 boobs. That's what he takes us for.
Damn, nature, you scary.
I'm with Steve Martin on that one, to be honest with you.
So gross.
Damn Nature You Scary brings us to Arizona. They've done like a necropsy on that bear that killed the guy in Arizona.
Is that like an autopsy except for animals?
Right. The bear that killed the guy, according to the report, it was an unprovoked attack. And it happened in Arizona. Now, normally black bears, it's not like these are grizzlies. It's not like these are like polar bears or Kodiaks. Black bears, for the most part, are usually not super aggressive. But this one charged at some dude on June 16th. And
you're calling it an unprovoked attack? Is that what you said?
An unprovoked attack, according to the Arizona Federal Wildlife Department.
That's the worst way to go, man.
They say that the bear did not appear hungry, and the bear had no signs of any sort of illness
like
or
rabies,
disease.
No rabies?
No rabies. They said it was just a bizarre incident, and, quote, the bear acted in what appeared to be an unprovoked predatory attack.
I don't know, man. This article makes it sound like they have no idea why this bear killed a guy. And I'm under the opinion of it's a frigging bear. That's what they do. They kill crap and eat it.
Even black bears.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we don't know. It was a 10-year-old animal. It was in good condition. No apparent signs of disease. It didn't have rabies.
Didn't appear to be hungry.
It wasn't appearing to be hungry. It just attacked a guy for no reason. Bear!
It's a wild animal.
I mean, that's unfortunately what happens sometimes, and that's why nature can be so scary.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Talk about Mother Nature here.
Okay.
Last night in Colorado, have you seen the pictures? There was a concert at like some Red Rocks outdoor concert
I know
venue.
what that is. Yeah, sure.
And there was this freak hailstone attack. And hailstones the size of tennis balls started to just pelt people at this concert. Take a listen to this. This was a recording that somebody took under a table. They were hiding out under a table while these massive tennis ball sized hailstones fell down.
Sounds like a war zone.
Multiple people seriously injured.
Yeah.
There were reports of people with broken bones.
Oh, my gosh.
When you see the pictures, and I'll see if I can find some and put them on social media, I mean, it looks like a snow event. Like these things are just stacked up on, stairs and on the ground. But imagine being outside and something the size of a tennis ball that's all ice just starts pelting and coming down from the sky.
Let me play this again. Sounds like bowling balls falling down out of the sky, man. That is why nature is so damn scary.
Damn, nature, you scary.
And lastly, we go to Nevada. They have migrating crickets swarming the town. Thousands of these things.
What town? Just a small town in Nevada?
Pretty much the upper part of the state. We're not talking about the Las Vegas area, but like the upper half of Nevada. So remember a couple years ago when we had all those cicadas around?
Oh, yeah.
Some areas were worse than others, but like at times you would have the window down in your car and these things would fly in. Oh. It's all you could hear. That's what's going on in Nevada right now. The locals say that the roads are so covered with these crickets, some of the cars are having a hard time getting traction to get going on the road.
Oh, because they're running over them, and they're slimy,
right?
And
they're making everything slippery, and kind of like in Florida with the snails that we talked about, it's also destroying the crops. So this is a mess happening in Nevada. A local TV station was interviewing some people about this mess.
Yeah.
Take a listen here, because the first guy is like a town official, and then they're speaking to some local woman, and toward the end of the interview, a cricket falls from the sky and lands on her.
We had people out there with leaf blowers, with brooms. Jeez. At one point, we even did have a tractor with a snowplow on it just to try to push the piles of crickets.
And they drop from the ceiling down. Yeah, they're gross. They're super gross.
Like the camera was right there when the cricket just fell from the sky somehow.
From the ceiling down. Yeah, they're gross. They're super gross.
So of all of these stories, Nige, gross snails that are spreading disease, attacked by a bear, tennis ball size ice falling from the sky, or swarming crickets, which one freaks you out the most?
Well, I've always said, I'll stand firm on this, that my worst fear is being mauled to death by a live animal or, although this is in the same category, being drugged down to the bottom of the ocean by a great white shark. Either one of those. So I'm going to stick with the bear attack, because I'm sure, I don't know how quick that is. Maybe toyed with him for a little while. Maybe ate the guy. I mean, this is a human being.
Although this individual didn't make it out, I feel like you've probably got a good chance to get away from a bear, because it sounds like this was at a campground. Ugh. But these tennis ball size hailstones falling from the sky.
Is that ears?
Even if that doesn't knock you out or break your bones, your car windshield, your house, all of that stuff damaged.
I mean, the prospect of catching meningitis from a giant African land snail that can carry rat lungworm parasites and it's contagious. Humans can get, that's also pretty scary.
There's only one thing left to say here.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Rob Kendall ready to go off the rails. Coming up next, right now, let's take a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Focused on what's ahead. Cloudy and 75 downtown, all clear under radar, but clouds will stick around tonight as temps fall to the 60s. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Mike Pence says he doesn't want to focus on past elections during his presidential campaign.
Where we stumbled in 2022, I believe, was where we had candidates that were focused on the past, that were focused particularly on relitigating the past.
Talking to WIBC's Tony Katz, instead, Pence wants to focus on how to put the country in better financial situations moving forward. He was found dead inside of a crashed car Sunday. Donnie Burgess reports on the killing of an Indianapolis teenager.
15-year-old Jeremiah Lewis's shooting death was targeted, say detectives. Indy Metro Police have arrested a 14-year-old girl and 19-year-old Wardell Wright, both charged with Lewis's murder. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor says he's grateful the case was wrapped up quickly, but devastated by the fact that 3 teenagers' lives are forever affected and their families thrown into chaos. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's no secret violent crime is a problem in Indianapolis as well as other cities in the U.S. That's why U.S. Marshals are back in town for Phase 3 of Operation North Star.
Last year alone, we had over 75,000 apprehensions, including some close to 6,000 homicide suspects. None of that could be achieved if it wasn't for state and local partners.
That's nationwide, says Ronald Davis, the director of the U.S. Marshals. He says his agents will be working with IMPD again this summer to grab even more murder and drug suspects. The search for a missing submersible vehicle that went down to view the Titanic wreckage is over. Fox's Gernal Scott reports.
Rear Admiral John Mauger of the Coast Guard confirmed news no one wanted to hear of what was found near the Titanic.
The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber,
meaning all 5 on board the Titan have been lost. Rear Admiral Mauger said the families were immediately notified. Now comes questions about cause and recovery. More must be learned about both, but Rear Admiral Mauger said about finding bodies.
This is an incredibly unforgiving environment down there.
He added that undersea rovers will keep looking and agencies on scene will keep investigating. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The NBA draft is tonight, and the Indiana Pacers have a pick inside the top 10. They get the 7th overall selection in this year's draft, plus 3 more picks after that. Indiana chose Benedict Mathurin with the 6th overall pick a year ago. With traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Baer.
Eastbound 70 Harrison, stop and go from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. The crash did clear. Inbound 65, stop and go traffic from MLK to Meridian Penn. Northbound 465 on the northwest side, slow to come up from 86. Eastbound 465, stop and go Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road. And inbound 69, a slow roll before 96 down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking it up some salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking it up some salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A mostly cloudy night is ahead for us with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, we'll see a few showers possible during the work week. Best chance for rain is in the eastern half of Indiana with highs near 80. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
And now, Hammer and Nigel go off the rails with Rob Kendall.
Noise pollution.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Also joining us here to go off the rails, Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, as always, to our segment sponsor, Garage Doors of Indianapolis.
Crime in Indy, Hunter Biden getting a slap on the wrist. All things we'll be covering today. But let's start out with our conversation Hammer and I had yesterday with journalist Ryan Martin, who writes for State Affairs on stateaffairs.com/Indiana. It was all about, I don't know if you heard this yesterday, Rob, It was all about lobbyists and how they spend millions of dollars entertaining lawmakers during the session, as Hammer put it, greasing the palms of your favorite legislators. And you know a little something about this, and you said it's even worse than maybe what was described in this article.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good piece. I thought it was a really interesting interview you guys did yesterday, because I had actually spoke to a pretty high-profile lobbyist in the State House. This has been a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me, he said, it is getting so out of control now that even I, as a lobbyist, am seeing things happening and the brazen nature in which they are happening. And what he basically said is the reason they are doing this, they being the lawmakers, is the voters have proven we're not going to stop them. We're voting red no matter what. So what are you going to do if we do it?
And it's legal, right? Like, there's nothing illegal in the state of Indiana for a lobbyist working on behalf of Company A or Company B to get access to a politician and say, hey, thank you so much for taking the time. Here's a little token of our appreciation. Oh, look at that. It's a Hawaiian dinner cruise.
Well, and he said, he goes, I was watching the Pacers game. So this is, several weeks ago, months ago, whatever. And he said, I'm watching the Pacer game, and he goes, I'm seeing on TV, very prominent seats, lobbyist politician, lobbyist politician, lobbyist politician.
Sitting right there courtside.
Right. And you know how they're getting these tickets. Well, what do you think? They're doing it out of the goodness of their heart? No. They want something, and they're giving them premium stuff they can't get other places. And because, who writes the laws? The politicians write the laws. They can do whatever they want.
Are the lobbyists, the lobbyists kind of has, and we mentioned this yesterday during the conversation, has sort of a negative connotation to it. Are there good lobbyists out there that are trying to work for their clients and get in front of these lawmakers and say, hey, here's what we need to do to change the law? You know what I mean?
Well, right. Because at its core, you are, a business, and you want some law changed. Well, you don't have the expertise or the relationships or the know-how to even know where to begin.
Right.
So you hire a firm or an individual, and you say, my desired goal is A, B, and C. And then for a fee, that person will go to work on your behalf and try to get you desired result A, B, and C. And that's fine. If we're talking about, we're having conversations with lawmakers in their cubicles or in their offices or, standing outside the State House, that's fine. Or we're going to dinner and everyone's picking up their own tab. No problem with that whatsoever. But when you've got people like we're talking about, the Hawaiian trips, or sitting courtside at the Pacers games or in the 50-yard line at the Colts games, that is legalized access buying. That's what that is.
And it's not just the candidates, it's candidates' wives, it's candidates' kids, it's all these other folks that are getting these perks as well. And again, I want to point out, this isn't anything new. This has been going on. It's a tale as old as time. Republicans and Democrats, these politicians, if somebody's willing to put a gift in front of them, they're going to take it.
One of the things that has gone unnoticed, and I'm really surprised by this, is there has now been an ethics commission formed. And the reason it was formed, I was told by this lobbyist, is because the lawmakers, Rod and Todd, the Flanders boys, have recognized, Rod Bray and Todd Houston, the Speaker of the House and the Pro Tem of the Senate, the behavior from these lawmakers is becoming so brazen. And I'm not just talking about with lobbyists. I'm talking about interactions with staff, all sorts of, sending of pictures, I was told. There's all sorts of things going on. And they said, look, we've got to do something about this. And so they have now quietly formed this ethics commission.
Are they, the politicians, asking for these things in advance before the lobbyists get together? Like, is it like in Blue Chips? Is Rod and Todd matting over expecting a new tractor and a suitcase full of cash like in Blue Chips?
Well, I think it's like anything else. I think it's entered into the equation. Like, let's say you're the politician and I'm the lobbyist. Hey, Hammer, I'd like to talk to you about this issue involving ethanol.
I'm busy.
Well, hey, look, if you don't have any plans, I've got tickets to the Colts game on Thursday night, 50-yard line. So, hey, I really need to talk to you about this. If you want to talk about it another time, that'd be great too, but we could also just do it there.
Make it a suite and you got my attention.
That is not that far off from how it works. And so my point in all this is, and I thought it was just perfect timing that Ryan Martin was on with you guys about that. And again, I thought it was very interesting. When I've got lobbyists in the State House who are even looking at this going, wow, this is getting out of control. It's clearly getting out of control because they're in the business of doing it. And by the way, people operate in different buckets. They operate in different standards. There are different budgets. Not all lobbyists are created equal. This is a whole big world that most people aren't really, knowledgeable about.
What did Ryan tell us yesterday during that interview, Hammer? What was the number? Only like 8 legislators have gone on record as saying they don't accept gifts from lobbyists.
Like 8% of the entire Indiana General Assembly, something along those lines.
Well, and look, sometimes it isn't nefarious, and I don't think specifically it's not specifically if I go to this Colts game with you, I'm going to whatever, but it makes it easier to make your pitch when you've got, in the case, let's say it's a Colts game. Well, you've got the 3 hours of the game. You've got the 30 minutes leading up to the game where you're sitting there, and they're not just talking about that the entire time. They're weaving in different things. They're shooting the breeze about their colleagues. They're telling war stories. But if so-and-so is your buddy, well, then you're more apt, not even if it's not deliberate, like, hey, there's not a briefcase full of cash, but so-and-so is my friend. Well, I'm going to try to do what they want me to do because they've got sway in the State House.
And I'm not mad at the lobbyist. That's his job. Right. The money is coming from another source. Very rarely do these lobbyists spend their own money to fund these Hawaiian vacations. It's coming from whoever that lobbyist is representing.
Well, look, here's the deal. You've got most of these people are professional people. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're making a living. And on top of that, they're making $60,000 to $75,000. And they just gave themselves, in the case of the House, $1.5 million of raises they're about to receive. So you've got people who have plenty of money. If you want to go to a Colts game with a lobbyist, by all means, but pay for it yourself. If you want to go to dinner with a lobbyist or have drinks with a lobbyist, by all means, go and shoot the breeze and talk about public policy. No problem with that. Pay for it yourself. I mean, you have basically legalized access buying that is taking place here because the politicians have written the rules for them to be able to do it.
And one of the things, and we can move on, Hammer, after this, but one of the things I'd like to find out is if these politicians, these legislators, are paying taxes on these gifts received.
Yeah. It's a great.
I would like to find that the answer to that.
And Ryan Martin hit the nail on the head with this when he told you guys it is very hard to track because the lawmakers don't have to declare it. So you've got to go through the actual lobbying businesses themselves, and sometimes that is like trying to read a foreign language in terms of read it and know who it is and learn about it.
Rob Kendall with us from the Kendall and Casey Show. We're going off the rails. I thought another interesting conversation Nigel and I had this past week was with the prosecutor of Johnson County. Oh, yeah. His name was Lance Hamner. And it sounds like the donut counties, they're tougher on indie criminals than the indie prosecutors and judges are.
Yeah, that was a really interesting conversation. And Lance I believe, just recently won his election. He was running against an incumbent and defeated the incumbent, if I'm not mistaken.
He left the judge's bench to go back to be a prosecutor.
Yeah, and so what you've got here, and look, Rick Snyder talks about this all the time with you guys, with us, that if you are in a donut county, you are no longer safe. I mean, a guy was just convicted of a murder in Brownsburg that took place, I believe, in 2022.
Well, hell, the story that we led the show off with today was how, like, the headline reads, "Man busted on weapons charge, 1 year in jail." And you just look at that headline and you think, oh, look at Boss Hogg setting Ryan Mears crack down. Yeah. But then you read the story. It's a convicted felon who shouldn't have a weapon. It was a machine gun. He had stolen guns, stolen phones, fentanyl, all this stuff, resisted law enforcement, is a suspect or a person of interest in an armed robbery where shots were fired, and he got 1 year.
Here's part.
1 damn year.
Yeah, I know. And look, obviously, Hogg's is horrific. Mears is horrific. We've talked about this. Here's a big part of the problem, though, and the donut community sharing the blame of this. They have so irresponsibly grown these donut communities, and I'm talking about a house farm on every corner, right, where you have given people access to travel and the people to travel to. That irresponsible growth has played a big part in the in crime increases in these suburban communities. So yes, while absolutely Mears is to blame, Hogsett is to blame, and it rests with them and their inability to clean Indianapolis up, the local politicians haven't done themselves any favor by approving high-density housing units like they're going out of style.
Can you stick around for one more break?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. We're going off the rails. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
We see some patients who come in and they have been in just so much pain for so long that they are just deflated.
But that's about to change because QC Kinetics provides hope for relief using all new regenerative treatments that concentrate your body's own healing properties into aching hips, back, shoulders, and knees. And Dr. Zuckerman, a medical director at QC Kinetics, loves watching the patient transformations.
One of the most amazing things is when I get to see a patient who, after a few months of our treatments, is just a completely different person. They are smiling and happy, and the weight of the world is off their shoulders because we were able to take away their pain.
And that's with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
It's just amazing to be able to change people's lives like that. It's very gratifying.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword INFO 42 to 866-482-9559. That's INFO 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
It's Thompson Furniture and Mattresses Dare to Compare sale here happening in June. They guarantee none of their competitors will beat them on any price on items that are apples to apples. That's Berlin Gardens, Pollywood, Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, Tempur-Pedic, basically anything in their store. And if you do, they'll beat the price and they'll still deliver it for free within 75 miles. It's Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. I love these guys.
Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. I got my Tempur-Pedic bed there. Oh, man, it's become a part of the family. Just got some new couches and love seat from Thompson Furniture and Mattress. And what I love about this Hoosier-owned business, same family since 1927, that it's free delivery and setup if you live within 75 miles of their store. Plus, they support what we do here at the Hammer and Nigel Show, so take care of these guys. Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Preventive maintenance works. Well cleaning and bacteria sampling with offer code SPRING23. Call C&J at 317-852-WELL or cjforwater.com.
The best summer savings arrived early at Mattress Firm's July 4th sale. Save up to $700 on top brands when you get a king bed for a queen price. Visit the sleep experts at Mattress Firm today.
Pierce Jewelers wants you to know the diamond world has changed. You can choose mined or lab-grown diamonds. Unlike chain stores, Pierce Jewelers carries both. They can educate and help you save your hard-earned money.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Inbound 69 stop and go traffic, 106th Street down 282nd. Lawrence northbound at 465, a grind before Penn Pike lets up after that until East 56th Street. Inbound 65 stop and go MLK down to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70 slow to downtown for the west side. That's Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete. Concrete Patio. India Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
76 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC. Back with Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. So tonight is the NBA draft, Rob, and we did this a little bit earlier on your show. A tradition that we have is whenever there's a major draft, whether it's the NFL, Major League Baseball, whatever, we think about fictional athletes and who would you draft.
Yes.
So tonight's the NBA draft, Nige. Now, the rules are this. It can't be a professional basketball player playing the role. So you can't pick like Michael Jordan and Space Jam.
Well, I can't pick Rick Smits from Coming to America.
Oh, that's so good. I totally forgot.
Remember that scene?
Into face.
Into face. And that was Rick Smits.
That was Rick Smits dunking when he was at Marist. He gets a royalty for that. Like, he still gets a Coming to America check every year.
So you're asking me who I'd draft from a fictional movie. I would say, well, I mean, it's not Hoosiers, Jimmy Chitwood. That's a
pure
legitimate?
shooter. Yes, we'll accept that answer.
Okay,
because he was not a professional basketball player.
Okay.
And
Here's the problem with taking Jimmy Chitwood, and I thought about this after our morning show where we discussed this. Jimmy Chitwood is like when the Pacers had the opportunity to draft Steve Alford, and they went with Reggie Miller instead.
Right.
The sentimental pick said Steve Alford. The basketball IQ said you have to take Reggie Miller. He's a markedly better player and will be at the professional level than Steve Alford. Boyle was the marquee player in the state finals in the movie Hoosiers. So if you're going from the movie Hoosiers, Boyle was clearly the best player on the floor.
he was a much better defender. And I'm concerned that Jimmy Chitwood can't guard an NBA 2. Like, you're going to have to hide him defensively because he can't match up with, like, Klay Thompson. That's not going to work. My number one choice was from White Men Can't Jump, Sydney, Wesley Snipes' character. I chose him over
Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson's character because Woody Harrelson's character, much like John Morant, has some off-the-court issues he needs to work out.
Now, is Woody Harrelson, is Wesley Snipes the greatest athlete actor in movie history, considering the characters that he played?
Oh, Willie Mays Hayes.
Mays Hayes. He was great in The Fan, which is a Robert De Niro movie where he plays a baseball player.
A star for the Giants.
Yeah. I mean,
he was a football player in the Goldie Hawn movie Wildcats with Woody Harrelson.
So he has been a great athlete in all three sports in movies. He may be the big winner.
Are we taking anybody from the Flint Tropics, Nige? Are we taking anybody from
Jackie Moon, the Will Ferrell movie, semi-pro, Monarchs? Yeah, again, Woody Harrelson. He was pretty good.
What's coming up tomorrow on the Kendall and Casey Show?
Man, we are going to get into a whole bunch of stuff, including the Washington Post talking about Joe Manchin running for president, which that sounds about as entertaining as watching paint dry.
He's off the rails. He's Rob Kendall. Special thanks to
Garage Doors of Indianapolis.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. Top stories next.
Rob, here's a number I'd like you to consider.
Yes.
35%.
Oh.
How would you like to get a 35% bonus when you invest your money?
Yes, please.
So if you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. But don't wait, because this 35% bonus, it ends on Friday, June 30th.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. You can sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn how you could get this 35% bonus by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Remember, this 35% bonus offer ends on Friday, June 30th. So don't wait. Call today. Get your 35% bonus by calling 317-932-9912. That number, 317-932-9912.
The most
most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry item and get up to 5 years special interest financing or take up to $5,000 off right now. Everyone's loving this because you get to design your ring and your payment plan and take advantage of our most flexible options ever. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. Enjoy financing for up to 5 whole years or get our best ever sales price. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Addiction affects almost everyone. In fact, nearly 90% of people that struggle with substance abuse don't get help. Many people don't know where to start or think that treatment is ineffective or too expensive. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to tell you that's not true. We teach a curriculum that is both effective and affordable. You can learn how to live a happier and healthier life, a life that is free from addiction. Don't wait another day to get help. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to learn more.
GeoFocus Academy is the premier online private school for Indiana students, helping students build a successful future regardless